Let's see the gift first of all. But
First of all, let's see who hurt you, because they're gone. They won't hurt you no more.
damn. Well, it's okay. Actually, no one hurt me. The thing that dislodged me from my belief is just simple logic, as a matter of
But you
fact.
don't have simple logic. Do you want to free Palestine from air when that's a satanic country? You don't want to believe
Do I
in
want
God
to
when He's the
free
one true
Palestine
Father.
from air? What? I don't even know what that means. Do I want to free Palestine from air? That just sounds like nonsense to me.
Well, you don't believe in God because we could free them from the devil they're under.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think the devil exists.
Well, I'm just saying there's a reason that every country who messes with God's people, the Jews, they lose the war. Their country gets destroyed and blown up.
Wait, I have no idea. Wait, so every country which what?
Goes to war with Israel. They don't win. You know why they don't win? Because God's not going to let His people suffer. He's going to repay them twice as much as they lost.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, if you believe in the Bible, then there's like literally stories of Israel losing wars.
But I'm talking about modern days, sir.
Oh, gotcha. So if you put the fake like mythology aside, that seems like it would be for like complex geopolitical reasons. Also, it hasn't had a very long history, and it's supported by some pretty big powers. So
A
that's
long
like kind of
history,
expected.
like Palestine
Hippo,
has
thank you
been
so
around
much.
since
Appreciate it.
before
Wait,
King
I'm not
Cyrus.
really interested. I'm not really interested in the Palestine conversation. Let's just get back to the God topic.
Have you ever tried closing your eyes and saying, God, show yourself to me?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Okay, let's close your eyes and actually believe and say, God, show yourself to me if you're real. I want to feel your presence.
God, show yourself to me right now if you're real. Nothing.
Did you actually mean it in your heart, though? You
Yep,
gotta want to
I
believe.
meant it in my heart. Still nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you to try that every day for a week.
Every fucking day? Well, okay, wait. Have you ever tried praying to Zeus? Maybe Zeus would reveal himself to
Actually, I
you.
was trying to convert to Muslim for a year because someone from school converted me, and
Do you
then I
think
didn't. I prayed and never felt Allah, so I left.
do you think Zeus is Muslim?
No, Zeus ain't Muslim. I'm just saying, like, I tried other religions, they don't work.
Yeah, wait, but have you tried Zeus?
I mean, I could try Zeus, but he's not real.
Yeah, and I could try God, but he's not real.
But he is real, though.
Yeah, same with Zeus. You have no reason to say that I need to pray to God every day to see if he reveals himself to me. Whereas you have no
I said
problem
for a
saying like that
week.
you're not going to pray to Zeus every day, even though Zeus might reveal himself to you.
I mean, if he did reveal himself, that'd be the devil, and the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So that would not be Zeus.
Yeah, so I mean we could take like the Romanized version of this even, and if God reveals himself to me, that's like Loki, the trickster god, who's just playing little tricks on me.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be real because only God's real. That's why he's the
Oh,
only
your
person who has a
conclusion.
tomb
Why didn't
that's
I just
empty.
think about your conclusion?
Okay, can you go to Israel and find his tomb for me? Because there's proof a man named Jesus existed around the Bible time.
No, I can. So I can't find his tomb. Do you know who else can't find his tomb? You can't find his tomb.
No, I
Nobody
can't
can
find
find
his
his
tomb. His tomb
tomb.
is there, but it's empty.
Oh yeah, no, nobody knows where his tomb is.
They do know where his tomb is. It's
Yeah,
there,
where
but
is
it's
it?
empty.
Where is it?
It's in Israel. You can actually go on.
Yeah,
tours
where
to his
specifically
tomb.
is it? What's the name of it?
Girl, let me Google.
Yeah, nobody knows where Jesus' tomb is. Spoofnix, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And nobody knows where all these other false gods are, but they pray to them every day.
Well, I think that they're nowhere. I think that they're in the realm of fiction.
You're right. You were right about one thing there. They're nowhere because they're fake. They're fiction.
Yeah,
But you
true.
know who's
W
not
W
nowhere?
concession.
God.
W
He's all around
concession.
you.
No, I think your God is also fiction. I think your God is
I
equally
see
as
fiction,
fake.
but he's real.
Oh, because he's not real. that's
Then how did
that's
I?
just gonna be the remedy for that.
I mean, there's proof he's real. Like I was healed from cancer from him overnight.
I'm not really looking for personal experiences.
But it's like he's real though, and he'll show himself to you if you actually want to believe.
I just tried to believe, and he didn't
If you
show
didn't
himself to
actually want to
me.
believe, you're just doing it like, ah ha ha, funny I
Prove
did it.
it.
You gotta actually want to open your heart and
Wait,
believe.
wait. Prove that when I said, God, please reveal yourself to me, that I was doing it disingenuously. Prove it.
I mean, you did it with this disingenuous background.
Oh, well, wait. So do you want me to remove the background and then do it again?
No, I want you to actually want to believe it and feel it in your
Yeah,
heart.
wait. I did believe it and I did feel it in my heart, but he still didn't reveal himself to me. Prove otherwise.
Do you know how sad it's gonna be when I'm in heaven
I
and
don't care.
all these people are in hell?
I don't care. It's not real. It's not a
You
real
are going to
place.
care when you're burning, though. The reason I go on these
Yeah,
lives
but
is
I'm not going to be burning though because it's not a real
place.
place. I don't care. In the same way that you probably don't care about like how miserable it's going to be in Muslim hell for you. Yeehaw! Thank you so much, Abu.
Actually, Muslims believe in all this kindling fire, and if you want to
Yeah.
be for real, you can't burn in that 'cause it's not real.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you also can't burn in hell because it's not real. But I have a
But hell,
question.
Israel, there's
Wait,
proof.
I have
How
a
come scientists
question. I have
How
a
come scientists found
question.
the
I have a
darkest fire in the world is
question. I
black?
have a question for you about hell.
Okay.
Do you think God is all just?
You said what?
Do you think God is all just?
Just what?
Like justice, like just, like this was like the just thing to do.
He's actually a mean God and a jealous God. So he'll
so
send you
you
to
think the
hell.
Bible
He's
is
jealous.
lying? So when the Bible says that everything God does is just, you think the Bible is wrong? You disagree with the Bible?
No, I don't. I'm just saying
If
that
hell is real, you're gonna be there with me.
No, I was not. But he doesn't always do what you think he'll do because he's mean and jealous.
But do you agree that everything that God does is just?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So W concession. So the opposite of what you said literally like 10 seconds ago. So do you think it's just that some people burn in hell forever? That for people's the wrongs that are done in someone's finite life, that they are subject to infinite torture? Do you think that that's just?
I do.
In what way?
Because if they actually want to follow God and believe they could and he would show himself, but they chose to do bad and sin in this world life.
No, because they didn't choose to, because they didn't actually think that it was real. It's not an informed choice. This would be like if I
that's
told
their
you,
fault.
wait, this would be like if I told you that if you go inside of your house, Santa Claus is going to like decapitate you. And then you go into your house not believing in Santa Claus, obviously, and you get decapitated by Santa Claus who turns out to be real. I wouldn't say in that scenario, in that scenario, I wouldn't say that you chose to get decapitated by Santa. That's just nonsense. It wasn't a fair choice.
I chose not to
It wasn't a reasonable choice because you had no reason to think that Santa Claus actually existed.
But the point is, I chose not to listen to you when you tried to warn me, hey, don't go in there.
Hey, well, I mean, if you don't convert away from Christianity, yeehaw, thank you so much. Within the next 30 days, then Santa Claus is going to come down and decapitate you.
See, I'm going to choose not to listen because I know that's not correct.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to, similarly, I'm not going to listen to what you're telling me about God because I know that that's not correct.
But it is correct. There's
You haven't
countless
proven
proofs.
that. This is your claim. That's your conclusion. You need to prove it.
I did prove it to you. Like, what?
You didn't. Wait, what was the proof?
The proof is you would feel God in your heart if you actually was seeking him.
I did actually seek him, and I didn't
But
feel
you didn't
it.
seek him. When you closed your eyes and said
that wasn't
prayer, you
proof.
got
That was a
meaning in your heart, or
disproof.
it's not going to come true.
Prove it.
Prove it. I was here praying with you.
Yeah, and I felt it in my. I was trying to feel it in my heart. I was trying to like, God, please reveal yourself to me. I was trying to get himself to reveal, or I was trying to get him to reveal himself to me, and he didn't. So I did the thing that you wanted me to do to get proof. And there was no proof. So that didn't prove your point. That actually did the opposite. It disproved your point.
But it didn't, because when you said you're going to actually mean it in your heart, and you really didn't mean it.
Oh, I did mean it. Can you prove that I didn't mean it?
I can prove that you didn't mean it because you're being sarcastic about it. You can hear it in your tone of voice and see it in
I'm
your
not being
eyes.
sarcastic. I just have autism.
Well, I could have told you that, but...
Yeah, obviously. So I wasn't being sarcastic at all.
Obviously, you don't have the right mental capacity to understand such complex things.
Wait, you literally can't prove. I don't know why you would ever try to argue with someone about their own intentional state. I'm telling you, I was being genuine. I was genuinely seeking for God to reveal himself to me, and there was no reveal.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, well, do you have any proof?
I've been showing you proof this whole life. Clearly, you can't comprehend it.
Oh, I mean, I tried to do the thing. I followed your exact instructions, and nothing happened. So do you got anything else for me, or do I need to move on to the next guest?
Move on to the next guest. God is real. He's going to come back, and you're going
All right. Well, appreciate it. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. Share it with your friends. Let's get all the way up to 30K likes. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. If you want to join the community, there is a link to the Discord in my bio. It's also discord.gg/allegedly Ian. I'd love to see you there. We're doing a community night tonight. We're playing some video games, I believe. We're doing Among Us and Jackbox games, so I would absolutely love to see you there. But with that, we'll go to the very next guest. But make sure you're following so you never miss a single live in the future. What else? Kat, thank you so much for the glowing jellyfish. That is awesome. I appreciate that, Kat. What's up? How's it going, Saul?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 22.
And what religion are you?
Christian.
Okay, so what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
My strongest proof. I would just say based off archaeological evidence.
Which archaeological evidence?
Just like different artifacts and such that correlate to what is being said in the Bible specifically.
Such as?
Shoot. I know there are like some ancient texts and such, like scrolls almost.
The Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yes.
Do you think the Dead Sea Scrolls prove that Jesus is real?
I mean, it doesn't definitively prove that he's real, but I mean, it could kind of point in the direction that he could be real.
Do you think the Dead Sea Scrolls mention Jesus even a single time?
I'm not sure. I haven't like thoroughly read the scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls are a form of the Old Testament. There's not a single mention of Jesus anywhere in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So you said it's a form of the Old Testament. So if it's not referring to Jesus in that sense, then why did you bring up the Old Testament?
Because that's what the Dead Sea Scrolls are. They're just an old form of the Old Testament.
So could you say that just the Bible alone could be proof for Jesus?
Yeah, but the Dead Sea Scrolls aren't proof of the Bible. In fact, they're not even proof for themselves. It would still be a circular argument because you would essentially just be saying that the Dead Sea Scrolls are true because the Dead Sea Scrolls exist. This is a nonsense argument. That would be like if I said, like, the Odyssey is true, that, like, Odysseus actually journeyed and, like, fought giants or whatever because it says so in the Odyssey.
So what about the folks that the eyewitness accounts within the Bible?
Yeah, so this is again just using the Bible to prove the truth of the Bible. In order for me to actually accept that this part of the Bible is true, I first must accept that the Bible itself is true. So in order to take these like 500 eyewitness accounts as truth, I would need to believe that the Bible itself as a document is true, which I don't.
So, what are your thoughts on faith? Do you believe faith is just a fallacy, and you can't
think so.
Go off of something just based off of faith alone?
Yeah, I think that like faith is like pretty categorically nonsense. I don't know. Like faith is it's a belief in the absence of evidence. It's pretending to believe something that you don't actually know. I don't know why I or you or anybody else would ever want to pretend to know something that we don't actually know.
I gotcha. So it seems like, you speak about the Christian God a lot, and you don't believe it's true in that sense, but what about God overall and just in general? Like, do you have an idea of what God could possibly be, or do you just strictly believe in evolution and you don't have a God?
So if you go to like a generic God, a God who isn't like all good, all powerful, or all knowing, there's no like immediate contradiction, or maybe there is. Actually, no. I have good reason to believe that no God exists. I don't think that there was anything that created the universe because I think the universe has always existed.
So the universe has always existed. So what created the universe if
it's always existed?
So. But how though? Because there's always a creator,
Oh, so who created God then?
That's a good question. No, he's always been here.
Yeah, the universe has always been here. Yeah, it's the exact same argument.
So I don't know. I'm a little stumped here because, like, yes, God has always been here, and he wasn't created, but the universe itself was created by a God. So you can't just say
Prove it.
that the universe was just poofed into existence. That just doesn't make any sense.
Cameron, thank you so much for the $2 on Venmo. W Cameron in the comments section. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Again, prove it. Prove that God made the universe.
Well, I mean, there has to be a creator in my eyes.
Except
and I believe
that's not
that
true.
God is here. In my
Because
sense,
you don't think God is a creator, so that's not true.
I do believe God is the creator of the
But
universe.
you don't think God has a creator, so that's not true.
Yeah, I don't believe God has a creator. I believe he's always been here.
Yeah, so I don't think the universe has a creator. I think it's always been here.
So, therefore, you believe that the universe is God.
No, because I take God to be an entity who has like a mind, who created everything, who created the universe. So insofar as the universe doesn't have a creator, I don't think that there is a creator of the universe, which means I don't think that there's a God.
So you believe that the creator has, so you're referring to the creator as having a mind, if there was a creator.
That is like God by definition.
Right.
God by definition has a mind.
Has a mind. Okay.
Do you have? Oh, and I can run the argument. So, the universe must always exist because time itself cannot have a beginning. And I'll walk you through the argument.
Time can't have a beginning?
Yeah, because in order for if time begins, then that's going to be a change of states. A change of states is a change. Change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. And a past, present, and future requires time. So in order for time to begin, time would need to already exist, which means that before time began, time would already need to have begun. But that's just nonsense. We can't have time without time.
Time. Okay. What about like the Julie? So like this is basically just a short response answer. Like this isn't really creative in any means, but the calendar was created. It was human made. Time is human made. It's not hasn't always been here.
But so the time was here, but the way we like label it and put it into various categories, that itself is human. I agree that we put things into our own little calendars. That's fine. But the time itself already existed. Do you think that time existed before humans existed?
Yes, but not in our sense. Like in terms of like the Julian calendar and whatnot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So in the sense that there's like a distinction between moments, like moment A is different than moment B, and that was true even before humans existed, then I think time existed in the sense that I'm referring to.
I gotcha. Okay, so you believe that time has always been here.
Basically, yeah.
I gotcha. No, and I do agree with that as well in that sense, but in terms of the human made time frames, that's whenever that's why we use like BC and AD and all that, right? Like it doesn't necessarily mean like before Christ, right? Like if you don't believe in Jesus or the Bible itself, isn't there another term that you can use?
Yeah, like before Common Era, but I'm not really sure what the relevance is. So do you disagree with the argument? Do you have like a premise that you would reject? Otherwise, the conclusion that you're forced to accept is that time did not have a beginning, which means that God didn't create the universe. So
all right, so
I can go through the premises again, but you need to pick one to reject. Otherwise, you have to accept that time has always existed.
Just one more time.
Yeah. So for something to begin, for time to begin, that would be a change of states. A change of states is a change. A change requires a before and after.
Whenever
Before
you say
and
change
after.
of states, when you say change of states, when you say state, what are you referring to?
So in this sense, I'm saying that time went from non-existence to existence. So if something begins, it didn't exist before, but it exists now. So the time goes from not existing to existing, but this is a change of states. And a change of states is a change. A change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. and a past, present, and future requires time. Do you disagree with any of those steps?
So I do disagree with it because you believe that the universe has always been here, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe that there was a start time.
So you're just rejecting the conclusion.
universe
So
evolved.
this is like, this would be like if you walked up all of the steps of a staircase, got to the top step, and then said, I reject that I'm on the top step. Unless you reject one of these premises, then you must accept that time has always existed, which means that the universe has always existed.
So what I'm saying is I disagree with the premise on the fact that the universe itself was created at one point in time by God. Therefore, whenever God rose, that's whenever the time started.
And is that premise 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
I would say premise 2.
So you reject the premise that a change of states is a change?
A change of states.
Is it change? You would say that a change of states is not a change?
Change of states is not a change. Before time and after time is what you're referring to, right?
So time not existing would be the same thing as time existing to you. That time, like these are exactly the same state. That time doesn't exist is the same claim as time does exist.
Right. In that sense, yeah.
That just sounds like nonsense to me. This would be like saying that, like, yeah, Santa Claus doesn't exist is the same thing as Santa Claus existing.
Right, because theoretically,
what do you mean, right?
They will. I'm sorry.
What do you mean, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, please finish. Yeah, I want to hear your explanation.
Okay. So this is kind of like a deeper dive into it, right? But it was going to occur anyways, right? Oh, that's so wild to actually think about here. So, I mean, the universe was going to be created eventually, right? No. In the future tense.
Nope.
No?
I'm saying that the universe always existed because of the argument that I just gave. If time does not have a beginning, but it exists right now, that means that time exists without beginning. In other words, it just stretches backwards for infinity.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't have a counter argument to that.
Then it would seem like God doesn't exist, because if God is the creator of the universe and the universe doesn't have a creator, then it can't have a creator.
You're not. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
Yep. Appreciate you coming on up. Damn, I'm not getting good push out at all. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna restart the live. I think all the Israel versus Palestine stuff really got the algorithm unhappy, but I'll be right back.
And ideas.
Gotcha. Sure. So what's your strongest argument for the truth of Christianity, or like the existence of God even, that does not involve personal experience?
So I would say structuralism, the math of the universe, us being able to like just, understand each other coherently. Yeah, I think just the pure evidence of there being a God is just like the structuralism to me.
Yeah, so I would just deny this. I would adopt probably like a pluralist perspective in terms of things like logic, for example. So what's your argument for structuralism?
I would say math. Like, I work with math a lot. And I would say just like pure, like void, like something could be like, when I know earlier you was talking to someone about, you were talking about like infinity, not today, but it was like another live, and you was talking about like infinity or something. I'm sorry, but I was requesting to get in, but I couldn't. But like,
Think cyber.
Virtual infinity, and there's like a lot of different math concepts, but like basic on a basic premise is like everything that we do inside of this life can only be understood in a virtual realm. So we can't, like, if we build a game, a video game, the characters in that game can never understand outside of that game. Like, even if we program a ChatGPT bot, it understands what words are in the programming concept, but it doesn't truly understand what words are. So
This just seems to be an argument for why we can't know God, or why you can't prove God. It just seems like a lot of words for why you're not going to be able to provide the evidence or proof for the existence of God.
sorry, give me 1 second. I had it in my notes. That's why I was trying to like go to my notes. I had like all my arguments for the existence of God in my notes. But so like give me like
Yeah.
give me like
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
so yeah. Basically the like we can prove God existence just naturally, like I said again, through structuralism. Like there's no organized like for chaos to be organized as the way the universe, like if everything was if the universe was always disorganized, and I'm going to use this like from a nihilist perspective. Like if you know the Latin term ex nihilo nihil fit, basically says from nothing comes nothing. If the universe was disorganized and chaotic, which is how nothing is, nothing becomes disstructured without some type of basic forwardness of what that structuredness should look like. Like if when things are chaotic, they stay chaotic. Like in law, when something is in motion, it tends to stay in motion. When something is at rest, it tends to stay at rest. If something's chaotic, universe doesn't become unchaotic when it's chaotic to begin. The Big Bang should never have been this structure. Like if it was just a big explosion of particles, of atoms, of hydrogen, all this type of stuff, how could it ever get to this structure?
It wasn't an explosion. It was a rapid expansion.
Well, expansion, yeah.
Wait. So there's like a couple of things here. First of all, you said that nothing is chaotic, but if you're referring to like nothing like a literal sense, like the nihilo form of nothing, like just an absence of a thing, this is no more chaotic. Nothing is no more chaotic than it is orderly, because it's nothing. It doesn't have like these kinds of properties. But the idea that from a chaotic state you can't end up in like a non-chaotic state, that's just nonsense. Like mathematically speaking, if you dip into like the field of chaos theory, something can be in a chaotic orbit, and then from its chaotic orbit, it can arrive eventually at a specific like stable point. Based on this chaos. And in fact, there's like many theories of the universe that hold that if the universe doesn't like recollapse, or that eventually it will just undergo like a complete energy death, and it will be a completely stable state. So if you think that the universe is chaotic right now, there's lots of models of the universe in the future that would hold that it's going to be in a non-chaotic stable state in the future, which means that you actually can get stability out of chaos.
I mean, I get, you can get stability out of chaos, but I'm saying as far as like life itself, like the margin of error for life to exist in the universe is tiny. Like
Prove it.
I mean, look at it. Like even, I mean, plenty of people have said it's like if the temperature on Earth, like if the sun was like between like 10 to 20% closer to the Earth,
10 to 20% closer,
I mean, that's
maybe.
a lot.
But that's like wait, you understand that that's like millions and millions of miles, right?
Yeah, like one astronomical unit is like 28,000 miles, or I'm sorry, yeah, like 28,000 miles. But I'm saying relatively, the margin of error for things to exist is so small. Like,
Man, that's your claim, but I'm asking you to prove it. So you tried to, I'm asking you to prove that claim, and your proof seemed to be that if the sun was like 10 to 20% closer, but that's not like a tiny margin of error. That's like 10 to 20% closer, literally millions of miles.
I mean, on a grand scale, like that's tiny. Like that's nothing compared to a light year. You know what I'm saying? Like that, if 10% is 28,000, what, 4,000 something. That's still on a grand scale. Like that's nothing. Like that's a light year is nothing. So
yeah, which is why, so the planets that are closer or like outside of this range, such that they can't form liquid water, these planets are obviously not going to form liquid water. Critical skills, appreciate that. But the planets that are in the range are going to form the liquid water. Chris, thank you so much. Given that there's so many planets, it just seems like an inevitability that these kinds of things would arise. Thanks, Nick, appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I just personally believe like, well, it's not really personally, but you know, even like with the atoms and like how atoms are structured, I heard you also say that when he was saying that you said things can't come into existence in a previous live or something, but quantum particles, and that
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay, I thought you said that they don't, but there's a lot of stuff in life that we don't understand, and I just feel like we don't understand how consciousness streams. We don't understand. There's so many things, and it was a previous live. You also was like, just something can't be. I think you said something cannot exist, and he says, I'm sorry, it was like 2 lives ago, but like I said, it was numbers, and I always like do this is like 0 and null can exist simultaneously. Like God can be void, stateless, and something, and can be 0 at the same time. Like 0 is nothing, stateless is void. So for us to understand how God operates, like if I heard you also say time can't exist.
Wait. You just jumped past like 5 claims. Let's go 1 claim at a time, all right? Let's not just go like claim to claim to claim.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
I have literally no idea what you're saying. So if you're saying that God isn't logical, then if God is illogical, then I have literally no reason to believe in him at all. If God wants me to form a relationship with him, why would he make it like I don't need to fully understand him in like every single aspect, but why would there be logical contradictions in the properties of God if God wants me to believe in him?
I mean, I'm not God. I just believe that on a large scale, it's like if we were to make a virtual world, right? Those characters or operators in that virtual world, they can look and understand the math of their world. If we programmed a character in a game to look back at the logic of that game and to make decisions based off the logic of that game, yeah, just say, hey, I understand that 2 + 2 = 4, and this is what the outcome should be, and I understand. But they would never understand truly what numbers are, or the simulation, because it's still in it's still in a game. So for us to understand outside of the virtual infinite world that we're in, it's impossible.
That doesn't answer my question at all. Do you even remember what the question was?
So say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, so the question was, if God is all loving, if he wants a relationship with each and every one of us, then why would God make it seem like there are logical contradictions which don't exist in our minds, that it's impossible for these things to exist? Why would God make himself seem impossible to exist to our minds if he wants a loving relationship with us?
I think that's still a decision for God to, and I hate to say like, I hate the way we think of God as like it, because I think it's an it, but I think God doesn't want us to know him personally. Like I think God just wants us to live. Like I don't even think God wants us to sit here and try to figure him out. I think God just wants us to be here. So I think he would make a complex system the way it is because he doesn't want us to he wants us to love him. It wants us to love it, but not.
Duchess, thanks for the manifesting. Appreciate that. Very kind of you.
Not try to like necessarily like be it. Like it wants us to be human, not be God.
Wait, so are you a Christian or are you not a Christian?
I am a Christian.
Okay, but you don't think God wants, like, do you believe in like heaven or hell?
Yes.
Okay, and do you get to these places by like forming a relationship with God?
God has a relationship with you. You don't have a relationship with God.
Do you think a relationship is a two-way street?
No.
So God has a relationship with me, but I don't have a relationship with God. So do you think prayer is useless?
Yes, I think prayer is useless. Like, and I still pray.
You're a Christian, but you think prayer is useless.
Yes, because even in like plenty of places in the Bible, people prayed and God didn't answer them willingly, or God just did. Like, it's plenty of places in the Bible people pray. Even Jesus prayed to God. Was like, why on the cross he was like, why do you forsake me? And God didn't answer him on the cross. Like our relationship with like what we want God to do is absolute. Like it's not absolute. It's like irrelevant. Sorry. Like, go ahead.
So you're a Christian, but you think God has no interest in forming a relationship with any of us. But in order to get to heaven, do we need a relationship with God? Do we need to be believers?
I didn't say God doesn't have an interest in building a relationship with us. I think God puts things in our hearts. Like, and I think God has a relationship with whoever he decide or whoever it decides to give those emotions and feelings to. Like,
so if God wants a relationship with us, why would he make our logic such that he appears logically contradictory?
I think because like when you build a game, everything isn't logical in that game. Like you don't purposely.
Yes, it is.
No.
That's like because what underwrites literally all of programming is logic, computational logic. If your game's logic doesn't work, if it's not consistent, then the game breaks.
No, I mean some logic is intentional. Some code is intentionally written to break. I don't mean it. I don't mean it.
What?
Like
Which code is written intentionally to break? Yeehaw! Thank you so much, 90. Appreciate that.
Lee is written intentionally break, but that's not in the context that I mean it in. I mean it like in the context like if we build a game with certain characters that have certain functions or like certain things happening in a certain way in that game, it's designed like that.
Yeah, wait, but which games? So do you disagree that underneath all games that are programmed as logic, similarly, we also follow logic. So the game that a programmer makes follows logic, and the programmer themselves also follows logic. That it makes no sense unless you think that logic is not universal. Then
Right.
you would have to. Okay, well then God's just nonsense.
I think
God is
there's-
illogical.
I think there's global logic and then there's virtual logic. I mean, I'm sorry, there's global logic and universal logic. Like I think
These just sound synonymous to me. What's the distinction?
no, like because in the globally like in a virtual world, something can be logic globally, but virtual covers all global items. Like if you believe in multiverse theory, like there can be global logic in our universe, but virtual logic is the basic logic that operates in all multiverses. It's like it's not idiosyncratic to one global widget, I would say.
I sure don't believe in multiverses, so I just don't know what any of that means.
So basically, like if there was multiple universes, right? The global logic of this universe could say one hydrogen molecule and one other molecule makes this. In another universe, it makes something else. But the basic premise is that those two atoms exist.
Yeah, so there's a distinction between physical possibility, i.e., the possibility that in a different world, these atoms make like different compounds, and logical possibility, which is that in different worlds, there are logical contradictions via the laws of logic. What you're essentially affirming when you say that logic is different across many worlds is that it's possible that there are impossible worlds.
So I also wanted to, okay, I don't want to get too far off the topic and I want to let somebody else come up. But like, I believe that, do you believe truth can exist without evidence?
Sometimes.
So like, I think that's the problem. Like, I feel like you don't believe that truth can exist without evidence. Like
I said sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you said something. Okay. So if we don't have, I know you said sometimes, so I can't really go too far into that, but I'm a person that believes like we don't have to have the evidence of God to exist for us to know he exists. And I believe in the same context, like things can exist without evidence. Like we look at color technically doesn't exist. I heard this, you was talking about in another live too, and you were saying that because of color or something. Sorry, I'm trying to go back to all your points, but like
wait. It's like really hard to follow if we're just like jumping from point to point to point to point. Let's just stick with one.
Okay, so God can exist without evidence. You said, I know in another live you said that you're an evidence-based person.
Yeah, so there's like very specific scenarios where certain things can only be grasped via intuition, but it's going to be about very specific claims. So logic, for example, can only be grasped via intuition. If somebody rejects logic, then there's really nothing you can appeal to because they'll just bite every bullet and they won't see the problem with it. If their intuition differs from yours, there's really no way to bridge the gap. But most things, like things about like the physical world, for example, or like non-abstract stuff, that all requires evidence in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you just have to have that personal. The guy has to want a personal relationship with you, and if he doesn't, then you're just like you're an operator in this world, and I don't know. But I do believe God doesn't have to show evidence of us for us to believe in Him. Like I said, we can look at the natural premises of the world, like color, how we see color, and color doesn't technically exist. It's our perception of it. We see magenta, even though magenta doesn't have a wavelength. So, i.e., we have evidence of magenta, but it doesn't exist. There's no wavelength for that color, even though there's evidence of it. And there's plenty of other examples where, like, we have evidence of things that don't technically exist, and we don't have evidence of things that do exist. So it could be the same thing with God, like.
Well, wait, so the evidence that magenta exists is just that we see it, or at least like the thing labeled as magenta. When I say the word magenta, this word points to the color, like the sensory experience of seeing this color. I don't know this stuff about the wavelength. Even if it doesn't have a wavelength, it does have a qualitative experience associated with it. There's a qualitative experience involved in seeing the color magenta. And I don't know if it has like an associated wavelength, but I know magenta exists because I experience it qualitatively. So I don't think that proves your point at all. And I don't, because if that's the reasoning, then I can just say, well, I mean, you don't need evidence that Santa Claus exists. You don't need evidence that like Spider-Man exists. Like you can just believe in these things and that's totally fine. But that's not fine because you're making a claim about an entity and its existence based on nothing.
I mean, it's not necessarily nothing. Like, we don't have evidence of our consciousness. Like,
how do we know experience it?
I mean, how do you know your experience?
Whoa, critical skills. Thank you so much for the galaxy. Let's get a big W critical skills in the comments section. I appreciate that.
How do you know you're experiencing something right now if you don't have evidence of it? Like, if you don't have...
Literally, I experience it, therefore I experience it.
So I got a question. So
it's like just self-evident.
All right, I want to make like 2 more topics, and that's going to be it. Like, I don't want to keep going deep into this, but like, so if we grow lab-grown brains, right?
Do we? I don't know.
Yes, science grow lab-grown brains, and they've been doing it for a while now. But if those brains grow consciousness without a body, right? Like,
I don't think they. Wait, we don't do that.
We do. You can look it up. Science.
I don't think that's true.
Yes, look up lab-grown brain.
Well, okay. Well, also it seems so. The consciousness producing structure is the brain. So I'm unclear what the point is.
The point is, there's been a hot debate in the scientific community about making lab-grown brains, and if these lab-grown brains can grow consciousness. You can look it up. You can Google it. It's very.
And what is that like? Who are you responding to right now? How does this get to God is real?
Because I'm making a point. Get me out. If those lab-grown, this is a discussion about those lab-grown brains growing consciousness. If those lab-grown brains grow consciousness, but they can't see outside, they can't see the outside world. Does the world exist to them? Does the world exist?
Oh, so you're just asking like brain. I don't think this is a real thing. I think what you're referring to is brain in a vat.
No, Google it. It's like, you can. Everything I'm saying is true. Like, this has been going on since 2010. Look up lab-grown brains consciousness on Google. You can just Google it.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. But how does this get to like God? Even if this is all true, how does this get to God is real?
Because I'm showing you that if something exists outside of your parameters of understanding or knowledge or reference, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Oh, okay, wait. So this doesn't get to the conclusion that this arrives at is not that God is real. It's that God isn't necessarily not real, but he is not real because things that violate or things that have contradictions within them aren't real, and God has contradictions within him.
No, humans have contradictions in them, but that don't mean we're not real.
But we don't have logical contradictions. It's everything in the reality that we exist in is logically consistent.
Our DNA is a logical contradiction. Like our
What's
DNA,
the contradiction?
Like most of our DNA is useless, and we only use a small percentage, but it makes so many of our functions happen.
What's the contradiction with that?
That
we could have. So I could have a work staff where like 98% of them like sit around and do nothing, but then 2% of them work like extra hard and get everything done. That's not a contradiction.
I mean, okay, that the universe is expanding faster than light. That's a contradiction.
Well, it's not though, because this is like referring to actual movement itself. Like movement itself can't be a violation or can't violate the speed of light. Like a physical thing that's actually moving. The universe's expansion isn't a physical thing; it's space-time that's expanding.
Yeah, space time is expanding. You're right, but even like that still breaks the laws of physics.
It doesn't.
I mean, this has been scientific. There's been plenty of articles about this, plenty of case studies, and all type of thing about this being. You can just Google it. I don't know how to else explain it.
Well, yeah. So no, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. So the speed of light seems to hold as a universal speed limit for physical objects that are moving. It does not hold for the expansion of the universe itself. There's no contradiction in that, because the barriers of the physical universe aren't characterized by like physical objects. It's space-time.
Yeah, I think that you like kind of believe that God is kind of like a type 1 error where we believe God exists and it actually doesn't exist. But I'm more of like a type 2 error where we have like a false negative of God in our understanding. So I don't know. Like, I think the basic, again, I'm going to go back to my basic premise of the argument is that key structuralism, you know, the margin of error for life to exist, that's my proof that God is real. Inherently, just like the margin of error for life to exist, the structuralism of the universe, you know, us being able to logically, you know, communicate, you know, particles being formed just right, quantum entanglement, quantum existence.
This is just word salad. None of this proves that God is real, and I denied like a good portion of this. So you came in with this claim, and then you couldn't really defend it. So then you moved to a different claim, and then 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 now you're circling back around.
No, I wasn't trying to the only reason I was making so many different claims is because I've been watching your lives for a while and I was writing down notes. So if I got a chance to come in, but none of it was structured in a way that would be coherent to you now. So I was just trying to get those points out that you were referencing before, but I couldn't like make it all make sense. But like I said, I want to go back to my basic premise of this argument is that the structuralism of the universe is the reason why I believe God exists. I don't think that anything disorganized like this, as far as humanity, Earth, the planets, you know, the margin of error for Earth to be here, I just don't think it happens. I think the forming of bacteria from in the ocean to humans now, I just don't think that happens. Even over millions of years, I don't think that happens without divine creation.
Yeah, wait, so to be clear, the margin of error that you're referring to is literally 10 to 20%. And I don't even know if that's true, but do you think 10 to 20% is a small margin of error?
Relatively, yes.
You think 10 to 20, so if there's like a procedure, just like a random procedure, let's say that like, I don't know, like you were taking like cough medicine and there was like a 20% chance that it killed you. Do you think that that's like a small margin of error?
Yes.
You think so? You think cough medicine that has a 20% chance of killing you is a small margin of error? Really?
Yeah, that's small. 20% is. I mean, that's still relatively. It depends on what you're asking. Like, if somebody said walk into this room right now, you got it's 80-20 Pareto principle. Like, you got 20% chance of dying, or you get 80% chance of winning $1 billion. I'm walking into that room. Like 20%, statistically, 5% is relevant. So you're technically right there. You're technically right there. Like 20%, even though I didn't say 20%, I said 10%, but still 20%, that's not really a lot.
That's a ton. That's a huge amount. If like the anesthesiologist has like a 10 to 20% margin of error, then their patients would, by and large, either
Trust me, I understand
like wake up or they would like be like go into a coma. A 10 to 20% margin of error is like life and death. If there's like a 10 to 20% margin of error on the parts of your plane is going to fall apart. It's not even going to get off the ground. If there's a 10 to 20% margin of error in your car, Your car is going to be in egregious accidents.
That's not true because, like I said, still that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, you have 20% margin of error. Like I said, I understand 20% can be a lot. Like even in the stock market, if I get 20% return this year, that's great. But relatively, in a certain it depends on in what context you're referring to. It can be a lot, and it can't be a lot. But like I said, I said 10%. I don't want to drag this debate on. I just want to say, like, key structuralism of the universe. That's my basic premise. That's what I'm sticking with. And I appreciate you bringing me on to say that.
Yep. Well, appreciate you coming on up here.
Thanks.
Hey, if you're enjoying the debate, make sure you double tap on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 30K likes. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older. You're coming to actually debate. You have like proof for the existence of God. You have arguments. They believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. If you don't satisfy those, probably not going to talk to you. If you're enjoying the debates, never want to miss one in the future, make sure you drop in a follow. And if you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both are in my bio. I always appreciate it so much. Hey, Bella, what's up? How's it going? Bella, if you're off the app, I cannot hear you. I'll give you... Thank you so much, Ivor. Appreciate that. Bella, you need to come back to the TikTok app. Otherwise, I cannot hear you. All right, whatever. Go to the next one. If you want to join the community... Oh, never mind. What's up? How's it going, Lexi?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay. And what religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
Perfect. So what's your strongest argument or proof that God exists that does not involve personal experience?
Well, I'll tell you this. And I saw your live earlier. I got a chance to listen a little bit. So I don't know what you've been debating on here recently. I can tell you from, everybody. Okay, so here's the deal. With Christianity, everything's built around a testimony.
But like I don't want the testimony because lots of people build their Christianity around like philosophy or like historical facts or like scientific facts.
And while
I can't engage with testimonies. Also, it's like super boring.
I understand that, but it is a part of what Christianity is as a whole. I won't go there, but I will give you and tell you this: that Christianity has been proven scientifically.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. Welcome to the community.
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark has
wasn't
been
found.
Yes, it was.
Prove it.
You got to look up the studies, do your research on that.
I already have.
So
there aren't any. There are no studies on this.
Let me ask you this, because the point of this is to debate, right? Mm-hmm. What is your standpoint on where the world comes from? What?
The world or the universe?
Everything. How was everything created? What came from what?
I don't think everything was created. I think the universe has always existed. Maybe in like the same way that in your worldview, you would probably say that God always existed.
But what do you think created? Do you see what I mean? What do you think created what you believe in? You have to believe in something. What do you think created it?
If you're asking me what I think created the universe, nothing. I don't think the universe had a beginning, which means I don't think it had a creator. So if something is created, then that means that it has a beginning. If time doesn't, if the universe doesn't have a beginning, then it doesn't have a creator. That's true of your God and your worldview.
But from a scientific standpoint, something doesn't come from nothing.
Yeah, there was just always something. That's my view. I mean, where do you think God came from?
And that's the question that all Christians have, but we don't know that until we get to heaven. It wasn't ever answered in the Bible. So, and I guess that's where faith comes in. You just have to figure out what you decide you want to believe in. You have to believe in something. I mean, and like you said earlier, there was a beginning. I mean, and if you come from a Christian. If you have a Christian standpoint, you believe in the Bible. And the Bible,
so prove that the Bible is true.
That's what faith is. You have to understand that. Just the same way Muslims believe in their book, Buddhists believe in theirs, and vice versa. That's what religion and the whole debate's about, is what do you believe in? Do you see what I'm getting at?
So what you're saying is that the only way that I could believe in the Bible and be a Christian is if I already believe in the Bible. That the only way to actually like accept this worldview is if I already accept this worldview. Otherwise, there's no logical reason to accept it.
There's no logical reason to accept anything. You have to decide for yourself. That's the whole point of believing in something. No matter, even if it was, say it was Santa Claus. I mean, you have to take that step to believe in something for it to be real to you.
So do you think that there's a logical reason to believe that 2 + 2 = 4?
That's been proven by math.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a logical reason. There's lots of things that have logical
People
reasons.
through the history of what was created before you. So are you just going to take their word that 2 + 2 = 4?
No, I can just see it self-evidently that if I have 4 objects in front of it or in front of me,
Okay,
let's say that I have so I have these 2 pens, and then I have like this water bottle and this like can of like Monster Energy. So I have 2 things, and then if I added the pens with these stuff, or with the water bottle and the can of Monster Energy, and I counted them up, I would have a pen, a bottle of Monster Energy, and a water bottle. I'd have 4 things. I can just see that 2 + 2 = 4 based on my own experience. I have a logical reason for accepting this. I don't have to appeal to what somebody said sometime.
I agree. Now you believe in science, right?
I believe in the scientific method. I think the scientific method reliably produces like true conclusions.
Okay, so if you see oxygen in front of you, where do you think that came from? You just think it just magically appeared one day?
Well, I can just say that I think matter has always existed.
Now, science has always existed. Science is just the label that they
That's
use.
not true.
They use science. Everything's a label. Okay, so the number 2 is just the way that I guess you could say we identify the number 2, right? Oxygen is what they call the air. Science is what they use to label what has been created of this world. God created all of it.
Prove it.
You can't prove. You can't prove faith. You have to live that faith.
So faith is just a belief in the absence of evidence. It's pretending to know a thing that you don't actually know. Why would you want to pretend to know something that you don't actually know? Why would you want to do that?
Why does anybody believe in anything then?
Because I want to believe in true things. It helps me orient myself to the world in productive ways.
The question that everybody tries to find out is why we're here. Why? Where did we come from? Why, when, who, where, why, whatever it may be. We all have to decide to believe in something. Everything in life is hypothetical. The only living word is the Bible. I mean, it's been around for years and centuries and centuries and centuries.
I'm not really sure what the statement... Kat, thank you so much for the galaxy. Let's get a huge W, Kat, in the comment section. I appreciate that. I'm not really sure what the statement, everything is hypothetical, means. But in terms of our beliefs, I arrive at my beliefs based on evidence. I think that there's good beliefs and there's bad beliefs. That if I believe that the sky is blue, because every time I look at it, the sky is blue. But you believe that the sky is red because you like flipped a coin and interpreted from that coin flip that the sky is red, then my belief would be a lot stronger than your evidence would be. These beliefs, the belief that the sky is blue, is not on the same epistemic ground. It's not like the same level of like trueness as the claim that the sky is red. They're both beliefs, but one is clearly superior to the other.
I agree to that, but evidence, go to the Christian world, okay, coming from our standpoint, evidence comes from faith. Faith is your evidence. The faith that you have as you go throughout your day-to-day life, when you see God in the things that you do, you see God in the blessings that you receive, you see God and Jesus in everything that you say and do. That is what Christianity is made up of. You're not going to get a hard fact answer to why God created the world, because that's the whole point of faith. If you didn't have faith in the mix, there'd be no reason for anybody to believing in anything.
No, that's not the case, because I can just root most of my beliefs in some form of evidence, be it like intuitive or empirical. Carly, thank you so much. What you're describing is just a confirmation bias. You believe in God, therefore you see God everywhere. But just because you think you see God everywhere doesn't mean that God is actually real, especially when we have naturalistic explanations, i.e. atheistic explanations for why you might be experiencing this or think that you experience God. There's no reason that I would accept that this is actual evidence. And there's no reason why I would think that faith leads to a good conclusion. I think I would just ask you, let's say, do you think that it's reasonable to believe that my car engine is filled with spaghetti and meatballs if I have faith that my car engine is filled with spaghetti and meatballs? Do you think that's a reasonable belief?
that's a silly statement, is what it. But
exactly.
You're
Why?
taking something so small and comparing it to something that literally is the whole universe.
Wait, what's the difference in terms of like the way I arrived at the belief itself between your belief in God and between your faith in God and my faith that my car engine is filled with spaghetti and meatballs? What's going to be the difference?
Same thing. Why do you believe in the things that you do? That's
Because of evidence, mostly.
What was your evidence? I would love to know.
For which claim?
Whatever you're getting at. I mean, are you an atheist? What are you getting at?
Yeah, sure. So for the idea that the universe doesn't have a beginning, that just comes down to the fact that in order to have a beginning, I think beginning is a change, and in order to change, you must have time. I can walk you through that. I'll give you 5 premises. I want you to tell me which one you disagree with. Otherwise, the conclusion just follows. So a beginning is a change in states. A change in states is a change. A change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. A past, present, and future requires time. Do you disagree with any of the 5 of those, or do you want them again?
Yeah, run that again.
Yeah, so a beginning is a change in states. A change in states is a change. A change requires a before and after. A before and after requires a past, present, and future. A past, present, and future requires time.
God is time. He created all of that. Therefore, what you said isn't valid.
So which premise do you reject? Is it going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
I'm not going to answer that. God is.
You refuse to engage. So I'll just keep on asking the question. I'm not going to move off of this. Which premise do you reject?
Into what terms? That doesn't make any sense.
Just say, so do you disagree that a beginning is a change in states? Do you disagree that a change in states is a change? Do you disagree that a change requires a before and after? Do you disagree that a before and after requires a past, present, and future? Or do you disagree that a past, present, and future requires time? Which of these do you disagree with?
I agree. I don't disagree with any of it. I agree with all of it. However, I do agree that God is the start, the beginning, and the end of all of it. You can't.
Okay, but there's no beginning, right? Because a beginning requires time, which means that time cannot have a beginning, because that means that there would be a time without time.
Well, you're going by your beliefs, and I'm going by my
logic.
beliefs.
It's not belief. I mean, it is belief, but it's logic.
In my Bible, it tells me God is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega, and everything in between. So.
And my logic tells me that that's not possible.
Well, there you go. That's what you're debating, isn't it?
Why would I want to come out of logic, which provides reliable conclusions, and come to faith, which provides unreliable conclusions?
Because faith has led people down the road to salvation and what it's all about, which is getting into heaven.
Well, I don't think heaven exists. So in order for me to accept this argument, I would already need to believe in your worldview. But the only way for me to believe in your worldview is to leave logic behind. Why would I ever want to leave logic behind?
Leaving logic behind? You're trusting somebody. That's, again, this is what Christianity is all about, is the faith based in the faith walk of trusting that Jesus is going to lead you to where you need to go. Jesus is going to take care of you and give you the knowledge and the wisdom beyond what's in this world, beyond the logic that's in this world, and give you heavenly knowledge.
So it seems like you're contradicting yourself. You're saying that I would need to leave logic behind. I'd need to leave my human logic behind in order to actually arrive at Christianity. Logic gives me reliable conclusions. I can reason through things and come up with definitionally reasonable conclusions, reasonable beliefs. I don't know why I would want to trade my reasonable beliefs for your unreasonable beliefs. Why would I ever want to do that?
Because of a matter of opinion.
Why would I want to adopt an opinion that's unreasonable?
That's your choice at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, we all go to heaven or hell. And
you haven't proven that.
It doesn't have to be proven. It is the truth. You can't deny the truth. The truth is the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yeah, and I agree. You can dogmatically declare your conclusion to be correct, but you haven't proven it. You need to, in order for me to accept your conclusion, you need to prove it. If you haven't proven the statements that you're making, there is literally no reason for me to accept it.
Man, listen, you can't prove faith, and that's why in Christianity we have testimonies. And I know you said they're boring, but testimonies are exactly why we get to where we believe in what we believe in. And it's not, people will argue, oh, it's a mindset of where you're at in your life and you're just viewing things a certain way. No, it's watching, and this is where salvation comes in, where you have to, this is where you hear people say, I repented, I gave my life to Christ. You have to come to terms with yourself and say, I'm not going to be prideful and believe in my logic or whatever you're arguing. And I'm going to put my faith into something that is bigger than me. I'm going to trust him. I believe that he has me. And then you get salvation, which leads to your testimony. And you may think they're boring, but that is exactly what Christianity is.
Yeah, I guess I don't live on blind trust. I live on evidence and reliable beliefs. I live based on beliefs which lead to reliable and consistent understandings of the world around me. If my beliefs aren't consistent with the world around me, if there's a million things that I'd have to say, well, I don't know, only God knows, really, then there's no reason for me to believe in this. Why would I want to pick a theory that has less explanatory power when I can pick a theory that has more explanatory power? That just seems like trivial to me.
That is what faith is. And our Bible that we believe in tells us to be focused on the things that are above, meaning in heaven, rather than worldly things. Logic, there's going to be all kind of explanations and reasonings as to why things exist the way they do. Hence why we have so many religions. But at the end of the day, there's only one true word. There's only one true God and only one true Bible, only one true book. I mean, you can't factually, you're not going to factually prove faith. That's exactly why faith is what it is. You shouldn't have to prove, and that's the whole point of your relationship with Jesus, is he wants to know that you're willing to give your life based on no evidence, but simply based on faith, that you can put your trust in him because he gave his life on a cross so that we could believe in him, right?
So do you think that God gave us our capacity to reason?
God gives us free will.
But does he give us our capacity to reason? Like, did he make us as intelligent and logically thinking as we are in your worldview?
He made us in his image.
But okay, can I just get a yes or no? Did he make us this way or did he not?
Answering you, he made us in his image. That is the truth.
Do you think that, so which of those two answers is that? Because there's two answers to that question. So which of the two is that?
Ask your question again.
Yeah, so is God the one who's responsible for my reasoning capacities, for everyone's reasoning capacities, for everyone's intelligence? Did he choose to make us with this level of reasoning and logic?
God made humans, and he made the humans over everything in the world, all the animals and everything. So yes, he did create your intellectual knowledge. He created your brain, your body, everything, the atoms that work inside you. Yes. Because we're made in his image.
If God loves us and he wants a relationship with all of us, and he gave us our capacity to reason and made it a very reliable method for understanding the world around us, then why is it possible for a truly reasonable person to arrive at the conclusion that God doesn't exist?
Again, because that's what faith is. You can't, once you hardcore factually prove that something exists, there's no need for the faith anymore. Therefore, there'd be no need for Jesus dying on the cross. It'd be all in vain.
Well, but hold up, because so first of all, the people who lived at the same time as Jesus didn't need faith. They just had evidence. But second of all, it's still going to bite back into this problem of divine hiddenness. It is unreasonable that God would give us the ability to reason and the capacity to understand the world around us, and he would make it impossible for us to actually know that he exists. If he wants a relationship with us that's based on faith, that's going to be a lot worse than a relationship where we actually know that he exists or have high propositional confidence that he exists, that he's a real entity. I can't build a genuine, true, meaningful relationship with somebody if all I have is a hope that they exist. I can only build a relationship with someone that is true and deep and meaningful if I know that they exist.
Yeah, I could argue with that. I'm trying to think of how to compare this to day-to-day life. People fall in love all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. People make up love stories in their head and they fall in love with people that don't even exist. I mean, the fact that you're making it sound like you can't feel something towards something because you can't prove that it's not there. Do you get what I'm saying?
The analogy that you gave is literally somebody forming a relationship with an imaginary entity, an entity that does not exist. If that's your analogy, I can accept that analogy. But the conclusion of that is just that God doesn't exist, that you can form a relationship with an imaginary God.
And again, back to faith. That's what it's all about, Ian. You can't you can't have a relationship. Oh God. At the end of the day, from my standpoint as a Christian, okay, you have your Bible, which is the evidence and the truth. That is what our Bible tells us. It is the way, the truth, the life. That's Jesus. Jesus is he is what we're looking towards. We're trying to be like. We're trying to reach Jesus so we can get to heaven. We're trying to be more like him so we can get to heaven using our Holy Bible, right? Through the faith that we have in his word, which would be the Bible. And again, you're not going to prove faith. You just can't. It is an individualized experience that you have when you give your life to Christ. And until you, and I was there. I was where you were at one day, where I was like, I'm not believing in anything. Why would I give my life to something that I don't know is there? Why would I do that? Why waste your time when you can make your own decisions? Right? With your
Twetsky, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Twetsky, W666, W Satan, Hail Satan. I appreciate it, Twetsky.
So, as I was saying, can't prove faith. And again, that's where your testimony comes from. Your testimony is exactly what creates your faith. Your testimony is what you have seen God do. And I know you said they're boring. If you want me to, I'll go into my testimony. I got plenty
I definitely don't.
That's a choice in your opinion. But again, my testimony is exactly who makes me who I am in Christ, and exactly why I believe in Jesus Christ. That's the only logic that I can come up with in my head of why I would believe in Jesus, because of what he's done for me.
Okay, that's fine. I guess I don't think that there's any way forward in this conversation if you just reject logic, but I appreciate you coming on up here.
Well, you asked me to talk, I talked. But know at the end of the day, Jesus loves you. You're going to heaven or hell one way or another. However you end up at that conclusion, it's totally up to you.
And you failed to prove any of that.
I don't need to prove faith again, and that's your job. And each individualized person can do it, of finding their way to Jesus. And he will lead you if you will pray on it. If you'll reach out to him, he'll hold you. He'll grab you. He's there for us. All we have to do is be ready and willing to give our lives. And at this point, you're not ready, and that's okay. But I do encourage you, if you ever get to the point where you are in your life, that you want to accept Jesus.
Yeehaw. Thank you so much, Dreamy Lotus. Tracy, thank you so much for the $6.66. I baptized myself in the name of Ian. W Tracy, W666, W Satan, Hail Satan. I appreciate it, Tracy.
Anyways, I hope you have a great day, Ian.
Yep, you as well. Yeah, I hope you have a great day, Lexi. Thank you so much for coming on up. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's get all the way up to, let's call it 60K likes. So just keep on double tapping on that screen. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older, that you're coming to debate, that you have proof or arguments for why God is real, that don't involve personal experience, and that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. If you want to join the or if you never want to miss a single stream in the future, make sure that you drop a follow so you never ever do. Furthermore, if you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. As we move on to the very next guest. How's it going? Audio so bad. I also, fun fact about me, I do discriminate based on audio quality. I'm sorry. But yeah, sorry, let's see it. Dang, I'm just trying to get some joiners. Sorry it's taken so long. Will we get some joiners? Will I go crazy? Let's find out on the next exciting episode of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Can you hear me
Hey,
okay?
yeah, I can. How's
Hey,
it going?
thanks for having me up, man. Not
Yep, how
bad.
old are you?
Oh, well over 20. Don't worry. I'm not here to debate you or anything. I just wanted to share an idea with you. Have you ever considered allowing other people to join in? And so long as they want to do that, posting something in the background that says, like, if you want to hop up, like, super fast or joining in a debate, you have to send, like, a galaxy or something? I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Oh God. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm moving on to the next guest, but I have thought about this, and typically, if somebody like Venmos me enough, I will bring them up. I'll like prioritize them if they like Venmo me like $10 or whatever. But I don't like saying that because I do think that like sets it up. But I feel like a weird like obligation to people when they Venmo me or like cash at me like a decent amount of money to be put to the front of the line, where it feels like almost like really rude for me to not do that. And that's, I don't know. It's like one of humans' many cognitive biases is that we're really susceptible to like reciprocity, that if somebody does something nice to you, you feel obligated to do it back. But I don't know, I don't like put that out there because it feels like weird, I guess.
Hi,
Hey, what's up? How's it going, Nick? How old are you?
I am well over 20 as well.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
Like agnostic, but like I'm believing something a little bit, but I do want to debate you. Because
Yeah, wait, so can I just ask, like, do you believe in God?
I believe in something for sure. Like,
Okay, but do you believe in God?
I believe in something. I mean, I'm trying to understand your point of view. You said you believe in God, but there's
Is this something God? Because if the something's not God, then I'm not really interested.
All right. Do you understand? Okay. Down. Do you understand? Like, there's different like gods and like pantheons and like. There's different. I do like Buddhism.
Yeah, and do you believe in like one of them, or do you believe in like a specific pantheon, or what do you believe in?
I'm agnostic, but I definitely like see.
Okay, I'm only looking for debates with people who believe in like a specific god. If that's not you, I'm probably just not interested. Sorry. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Sorry it's taken so long. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hi, do you hear me okay?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 32. It's so nice to speak with you. Thank you for having this debate.
Yeah, of course. What religion are you?
So naturally I'm shaman. So I'm spiritual. Can you hear me out for a minute?
Sure. Wait, so what's your strongest evidence, or what's your strongest argument that doesn't involve personal experience for the existence of like shamanism?
There's definitely higher guidance because I follow angel numbers and my friends call me a real life angel. Now, I have not done much research. I have done quite a bit of my own research, but it's as and when I've needed to find it to guide me at the right time. I've done divination and such. And I don't know how I've done it, but apart from pushing myself way beyond my capabilities, I've gained something called Christ consciousness. I had helped people who were in severe need of help. And I knew I couldn't actually help them, but I pushed myself to do it. And I actually had this weird energy rise up from my whole body, and I had a big glowing eye thing at the front of my head. I'm not kidding you.
Prove it.
It sounds really weird. And I had these visions. And it was very strange and bizarre, and I'm quite an introvert, so this is brave of me to want to speak to you about this, but I do believe there are many spirits, different kinds of spirits, but there's also a higher guidance.
Prove it.
There is severe, like it's real, and it's the only thing that's guided me through all this, and I wouldn't class him as a he, she, or prove it. Go look at me. Watch me, feel my aura.
I
Feel
can't.
my aura, get to know me more.
Yeah, I'm watching you. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, you might not be convinced right now, but I promise you this is all real. And you could ask people I've spoken to. My dog is amazing. We're currently homeless as well. But the only thing that's been following me through this is some level of what somebody would probably mention as God. And I got my own understanding that God and Jesus was not just a man. It's all, like, anybody has the ability to obtain something called Christ consciousness. It's in the Book of Wisdom. Religion has been skewed to...
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're like homeless and religion is the only thing getting you through, I actually don't really want to debate you, because I think it would be kind of shitty if I like made you doubt the only thing that's getting you through. So I'm sorry about that, but it feels inappropriate to debate you if you rely like really very heavily on religion. Yeehaw! Thank you so
Hello.
much, Kaisak. Andrew, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Andrew in the comment section. W666. W Satan. Hail Satan. Appreciate it. How's it going, Park?
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
By the way, I'm a Catholic, and I don't really believe in God, but I just want to say that
You're a
I'm a fan
Catholic,
of
so
God.
I'm only looking for people who believe in God. Sorry. Hey, only request to join if you think that God is real, if you have proof or like arguments for why God is real, and if you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't believe in one of those, probably not going to talk to you. What's up? How's it going, evangelist?
It's going.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, so I assume you're a Christian, but what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Well, when I was 4 years old, I grew up in
This is a personal experience, by the way.
Yes, personal experience, yes, sir.
But I'm asking you for one that doesn't involve personal experience.
Well, I believe God's name is written in your DNA, and scientists decode it.
Prove it.
It's Yahweh. I mean, you can
Prove it.
research it.
I already haven't found anything, so prove it.
Footage of people on Mount Ararat in Noah's Ark.
Let's not be a pivoting Perry here. So the first claim was that there's like it's written in our DNA, and I asked you for proof of this, and then you're now moving to a completely separate claim because it seems like you don't have any proof for it.
But there's proof in the strata. If you look up the archaeological evidence of the strata, you could see trees standing up. You could see the dinosaurs. You could see ancient like creatures in the archaeological evidence that were part of the deluge or the antediluvian world before or after the flood of Noah. You can research it. It's all there, all the evidence.
Yeah, well, I've already researched this. That's not the case because when we actually go back and carbon date these fossils, they're from long before humans existed, which means that they can't be from the time of Noah because humans have only existed for the last like 200,000 years, whereas these fossils are all like 80 million years old.
But carbon dating is created by humans, and they're prone to failure, and it's not 100% accurate.
Do you think that 2 + 2 = 4 is 100% accurate?
Yeah, but I mean, math is a human construct too, right?
So if humans didn't exist, would it still be true that 2 + 2 = 4?
I mean, but that's just a speculative question, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I certainly don't think so. I think that there would still be 4 objects on the table, even if humans didn't exist. Even if, insofar as there are 4 objects on the table, there are 4 objects on the table.
Go from my childhood.
I don't want the personal experience. I just want the argument.
Okay. Well, I was almost sacrificed by Satanists at age 4. I didn't know
okay, so we're just like blowing past the boundary.
I was
Gotcha.
doing spiritual warfare at age 4 before I even knew who Christ was. So, thank you. I knew the warfare since I'm a child, and Jesus saves us. And I pray that you have a personal encounter with him. Maybe he'll bring you to hell in your sleep or something. Maybe you'll wake up from your delusion, and you won't be judged by God on Judgment Day for leading so many people astray with your lies, your delusions. You're delusional. Yes. You're the one who will be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, like it says in the book of Matthew, if you don't come to Christ. So, thank you. Have a good day. May you come to the knowledge of the truth. That's my prayer for you. It's found in the book of Timothy.
Oh, okay. He was gone. I was about to I was going to hit a nasty weenus. All right. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're 18 or older, and you're so if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older, that you have arguments and proof that do not involve personal experience, and that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. If you don't satisfy those 5 criteria, probably not going to talk to you. Keep on double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 100K likes. Make sure you're dropping a follow as well if you never want to miss a single debate in the future. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I do appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. If you want to join the community, we have a game night going on tonight. I would love to see you there. It's but only join the Discord if you're 18 or older. There's a link to the Discord in my bio. I'm sorry, I didn't get enough sleep. My thoughts are jumbled. Please forgive me. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Cross, globe emoji, cross.
Hi.
Hey, how old are you?
Okay. I'm 19.
Okay. And what religion are you? Oh, that was a dumb question. I'm sorry. What's your strongest argument for the existence of God
Christian.
that does not involve personal experience?
I'm gonna answer you that, but can you answer me a question real quick?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. What's your question?
Okay, so what proof do you have that God doesn't exist?
Yeah, there's like quite a bit. I think you could go with like the problem of evil, just that the existence of natural gratuitous evils or I'll just do like natural gratuitous evils is incompatible with the existence of a God who made nature and is all good and all loving. I think divine hiddenness is pretty strong. The fact that there are people who are open to a relationship with God, that if they knew God existed, they would certainly love him and like worship him and have this relationship with him. And yet these people don't have the relationship with him because there's not enough evidence. And then there's also arguments about like where everything came from that seem pretty inconsistent with like the Bible's account of where everything came from, like evolution, for example, or the fact that the like logic seems to indicate that the universe is eternal, or has always existed, rather.
Okay, so your proof is that there's evil in the world, therefore there's no way God existed?
No. So let's take just one of these. So if God's all good, why do we have earthquakes, for example?
You think God is the reason for earthquakes?
I'm asking you. So whose will do you think caused earthquakes? It's okay. We can work up to this. Do you think that God made nature?
Yes.
Yeah. And you agree that earthquakes are a part of nature?
My connection is actually bad.
What? Your connection is bad?
Yeah.
All right, well, do you want me to repeat the question, or what do you want?
Yes.
Okay, so you think that earthquakes are, do you think earthquakes are a part of nature?
Yes, earthquake are natural disaster, so yes.
Yeah, perfect. So then we would say that God created earthquakes because God created nature, and nature includes earthquakes. So if God's all good, why would he create earthquakes?
Yeah, you can say that.
It's a question. That's not a statement. That's just a question for you.
I guess you can say that.
Okay, so it seems like God's not all good. Ooh, you're staticking a little bit. Like a lot, actually. That's fine. I'm sorry. It's still going on my end. I don't know if y'all can still hear this. Okay. Damn, but make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. As we go to the next one. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both of them are in my bio, and I would love it. I appreciate any and all support. If you want to join the community, if you're 18 or older, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. It's also discord.gg/allegedly Ian. You can play bingo in there right now. God bingo, with a bunch of other people who are talking in chat at the moment. And that's pretty cool, I think. It's a great community. I know I definitely personally really enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty rad. And I hope you do too. But we also do community nights. We have a game night tonight. Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you? Hello? Aya?
I'm 13.
13? You gotta be 18 or older. Only request to join if you are 18 or older, if you have like arguments or proof that do not involve personal experience, and if you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't satisfy that criteria, probably not going to talk to you for very long. Sorry it's taken so long, gang. Just bear with me. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. How old are you?
30.
13?
30.
50?
30. 30. 30.
30?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, what religion are you? Oh, that's good. Sorry, that's going to be an audio issue. Damn. Why did the audio get like worse and worse over time? Hopefully we'll get one soon. Sorry, I apologize from the bottom of my heart that it's taken so long, but I love all of you. Thanks so much for the patience. Despite the non-existence of God, all of you have the patience of a saint, and I appreciate that. Let's get to 100K likes. We're almost there right now. So hopefully we can get there soon.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you?
20.
Okay. Well, we're doing a bit of a voice. I'm all right. I don't really need even if you're not doing a voice, I'm quite all right. Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you?
23.
What year were you born?
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, I thought so. You got to be 18 or older to request to join. If you sound like a fetus, I'm not going to talk to you. Let me tell you something. Only request to join if you're 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, don't request to join. Fuck. Why the fuck? Damn. I'm just trying to get some people on up here. Oh, I'm never going to get another debate, am I? It's never going to happen for me. That's so sad. But maybe not inevitable, hopefully.
This guy that doesn't believe in God.
Hey, what's up? It's me, the guy who doesn't believe in God. How old are you?
Bitch.
Nice. Yeah. Lay down a sick beat, bestie. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
You remember me?
No.
Okay, well, I was on this live a while ago, and we had a long debate for a very long time. And I came back to still answer those questions that you had for me.
Yeah, I don't really remember which ones, but yeah, what were the questions?
Okay, well, one, it was about how the sun, why would God let the sun give somebody skin cancer?
True, why would he do that?
The whole hurrah thing. And to answer that question, like here on earth, we're going to suffer. Like it's bound to happen because like I said previously, we had the choice to live a perfect life, but we messed it up like us as humans, and we have free will here on earth. So that's why we get to do what we want to do, but you're not going to see the good works of God when you don't try to build that relationship with him. And that's why I think you see it in a logical way and not in a spiritual way.
Wait, so you're saying that the reason that some kids get like cancer and are unalived by it is because of the fall?
No, it's not.
Then why do some kids get like cancer?
All right, so I'm gonna explain now.
Damn, we're tagging out? Crazy. Okay.
No, she's not tagging out, but
she's just not going to talk, and you're going to talk. Go for
I'm
it.
gonna talk.
No, she's gonna talk. But I just wanna.
He has an opinion. Yeah, he was
last time
here.
y'all spoke about like the skin cancer thing and everything. So The reason why, right, skin kits and all this stuff happens because back in the day with Adam and Eve, right, we lived the perfect life. When they listened to the devil, ate the forbidden fruit, we went from having a perfect life to a life of sin, which gave us access to death and all the traumatic things that happens on this earth.
Prove it.
He said, prove it. It is written. Go read the book of Genesis.
Yeah, prove that the Bible is true.
Yeah, but also think about this. Why do you think in court, before they say what they have to say,
You can swear in any book that you believe in. You don't have to swear in a Bible. That's not true.
but why in court? Why do they let you put your hand on the Bible and say that you promise to God that you wouldn't lie? Why do they do that?
Yeah, because the person who's swearing in believes in God. That's not going to be true of everyone. You can just swear that you're not going to lie. Like, I certainly wouldn't swear on a Bible.
That. Think about it. All courts do that when you go to court.
Yeah, okay, wait. So they just have like a lot of options of like books that you can swear in on. Like you can just like,
That's not true.
I, Ian, last name, swear that I'm not going to lie. And I don't need to swear on like a Bible. I can just like swear to myself. Whereas like Christians might like swear on the Bible, or like a Muslim might like swear on the Quran, or like a Jewish person might like swear on the Torah. There's gonna be like a different holy book that people swear into, but I'm still looking for the proof that the Bible is true.
And okay, also, why every time we say, look, why do you think when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, why do you think we always say under God? Like, what's that all about? Why did they make that?
Who the fuck is we? I didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance.
But you know what I mean as a kid when you were in class and they made you say it. But like, why do you think it's under God? Why do you think they?
I think that's an addition that was made in the Cold War specifically to like appeal to like a sense of patriotism, that like we were like God's chosen country during the Cold War, if I remember correctly.
All right, I'm gonna say this.
Just because you like say the word, like if it was like under Allah, that wouldn't mean Allah is real, presumably.
But look, it's not under Allah for a reason.
But if it were, that wouldn't mean that Allah is real. I'm still waiting for the proof. What's the proof?
Right, you want proof? You want proof? Let me give you proof. So, when it comes to the truth, right? There's a reason why the truth, when it comes to God, is always distorted. We don't see any upside down Hindu Buddha. We don't see no upside down Muslim moon, but we always see an upside down cross. When it comes to the world and the world that we live in,
how do you turn a moon upside down? How do you turn a crescent moon upside down?
You could turn it upside down. Come on now.
How?
I know you know symmetry.
Wait, it's like symmetrical across like this axis, right? Like if you understand that, right? Like if you take a crescent moon and then you like flip it like 180.
Has a star on it as well.
Yeah, there's like a star in the center. In the center. Shari, thank you so much for the dinosaur. Appreciate it.
It could be flipped upside down though. The star too.
That's just not true.
It's not true.
Is that true? Because it's not the truth.
That's not the truth.
That's why you only see.
Oh, gotcha. So you don't see it because it's not possible.
Me when it comes to Christ.
Thank you so much for the elephant.
When it comes to any type of other religion. Why is that? Like, explain that to me. Why do we always see blasphemy when it comes to Christ, but you don't see any other religion?
I think people like burn Qurans all the time. There's like rampant anti-Semitism.
And it's funny how when
maybe you're just not looking.
You think.
Well, no. I know that people burn the Quran.
Don't change your words now. You just said think. Now you're saying no.
Yeah, wait. So to say that hold on. Let's just chill out. So when I say that I know something, that means that I have a justified true belief in something. So I'm saying that I know this. That also entails that I believe it. In order to know something, you must also believe it.
Okay. I'm gonna just say this.
Damn, wait, I'm still wait. So I don't know if you remember the task I set out in front of you, but it was just prove that the Bible is true. Or do you want me to prove that the Bible isn't true?
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you've just been asking me like all these like random questions about like why we do specific things in our society. If your point is just that we live in a Christian society, I agree. Like our society is largely Christian, like 70% of the nation. We live in a fallen
society, not a Christian society. We live in a fallen society that disrupts the truth.
Oh,
Wait, but I'm still looking. I'm still waiting for the. I don't know what that means, but I'm still waiting for the proof that the Bible is true.
Okay,
Will you
yeah,
be
we're
able to
gonna-
provide that, or are you not going to be able to provide that?
No, we're going to provide that. But this is a debate. So we're going to eventually, both of us are going to get off topic when we both have questions. So
You haven't
but
been on
he's about to
topic a
answer
single
right now.
time.
He was about to go ahead and answer the question. Why? Prove to him the Bible is real. Okay. Well, for one, while he does what he do, I'm going to say this. So you know how Damascus got blown up recently, right? Did you know about that?
I sure didn't.
Okay, well, Damascus recently got blown up, and it says in Revelations that it says in Revelations that Damascus is going to get blown up.
Where in Revelations?
Yes, and the war between
Wait, that wasn't a
Israel-
yes or no question. The question was where.
Where in Revelations? I'm about to pull it up. I'm about to pull it up right now because
If you don't truly know if the Bible is real, read the book of Revelation and look in the word.
Wait, I just want the
pull it up
verse.
for him.
Let's hear the verse.
No, we're gonna pull it up for you. I promise. Well, also, let me say this while he's looking that up, because we recently talked about this and we did our research on that in the Bible. There's one more thing.
Thank you so much, T, for the couch potato. Let's get a
also
WT in the
happened.
comment section. Appreciate that.
So the war between Israel and Palestine.
It's gonna wait. You gotta move away from that one though, otherwise TikTok isn't gonna like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that thing.
Yeah.
That's also said in Revelations. That
Wait, I need the verse for that one too.
I know. I just wanted to inform you on those two events and how's in the Bible. We're about to pull it up for you right now.
Yeah, so let me inform you about an event. So in the Gospels, in the early Gospels, Jesus said that the generation will not pass away until all of the prophecies are fulfilled for his return. But the generation did pass away and he didn't return. So that's a prophecy that is not fulfilled and also cannot be fulfilled.
Hold on, wait. Please repeat that because I was looking
So
at it.
I think it's in. So it goes Mark, Matthew, Luke, and so in the early Gospels, it's declared that this generation will not pass away until Jesus fulfills all of the prophecies that will lead up to his return. That Jesus will return before the generation of the disciples and pass away. Problem is, the disciples did pass away, and Jesus did not return.
Okay, where's that?
This is a prophecy that was not fulfilled and can never
Where's
be
that?
fulfilled.
Where's that in the
Yeah, let's
Bible?
pull
And it was
up.
the disciples or apostles? Which one?
What's the difference?
Okay, you see?
Wait,
difference
I'm
is-
just asking a question. Can you tell me the difference between those things?
That's what I'm about to say. The
And also find that for us. Find that.
Exactly, because before you start saying that, you need to know the difference between a disciple and an apostle. And the 12 of the disciples were the followers of Christ. After Christ died, Christ gave all them the name apostle, and it was 11 because we know that Judas committed suicide. Then it became 12 once Paul joined the apostles, because he was Saul and then changed to Paul and then joined the apostles, which made it 12. So after Christ died, he rose again to the dead. We all know that.
Oh, we don't
there
know
were
that.
apostles.
Can I ask you, so-
the definition of disciple is a follower. The 12 disciples were followers of Christ.
Yeah, what's the definition of an apostle?
It's like a servant of Christ. Let me go.
So you were like condescending about how there's like a big difference, but apostles
is
are
a
like a servant of
difference.
Christ, whereas
So
disciples are
basically-
like followers of Christ. Oh wow, what a meaningful distinction that was.
No, like
I found
apostles.
the actual definition.
So disciples in Christ, like we're like me, like I'm a disciple, like in Christ.
Oh, sure. So it said that the generation will not pass away, or so Jesus says
Apostle is a Christian teacher.
the generation that Jesus lived in, will not pass away
Where's that in
until
the
all of
Bible?
the prophecies were found. I think it's Matthew
Where's that in the Bible?
24.
You think or you know? Because
Wait,
everything
chat,
you
can
talk
somebody
about-
give me the verse where that has like the prophecy that didn't come true? It says,
Okay, you
Jesus
said
says,
Matthew-
this
Matthew
generation,
what?
this
We're gonna look it up
generation, the
right now.
generation of Jesus, 24:34. Thanks, Lance Lee, I appreciate it.
24:34. Let's
Yep.
read it right now.
Yep, let's read
Because
it.
also you have to read for context as well.
Yep, the context is Jesus going through all the prophecies, all the things that are going to happen before he returns, which inevitably leads up to his return. And he says, all of these things will happen before this generation passes. Problem is, the generation passed. Not only did those things not happen, Jesus also didn't return.
Hold on, we're gonna read it. We're gonna read it out right now because I've seen people in the comments saying it. You're saying it, so we're gonna read it out.
Yeah, read it out. Read it. Do you want to read it out loud, or do you not want to read it out loud?
Oh no, we're gonna read it out loud. So it says, "Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened." This statement is part of Jesus' discourse known as the Olivet Discourse, where he speaks about the signs of the end times and his second coming. So it's Jesus addressing his disciples' questions about when the temple will be destroyed and what will be the signs of his coming and the end of the age.
Gotcha. So that didn't
Jesus
happen.
uses symbolic language and imagery to describe the events that will precede his return and the final judgment.
Yeah. Did Jesus return and did the final judgment occur within this generation? When Jesus says this generation?
I'm still reading it.
Well, we need to know, did Jesus return during the generation that Jesus said this in? Because if he didn't, then that's a prophecy that didn't happen.
Where in the Bible did it say the generation ended, though? Please tell me that, because
could you go out and find me the generation of people still alive?
No, but it says that it's an interpretation. So
then the generation ended; they passed away.
He's addressing the disciples' questions, right? But we're not in end times. We're in end
exactly.
times.
So there's a contradiction. Exactly. So Jesus said, this generation will not pass until I return. I will be back before this generation is gone.
This generation, but he didn't say a specific, generation.
This is an indexical word. If I said this water bottle, but I'm actually talking about a water bottle that's 500 miles away, that would be nonsense.
I mean, the Bible, first off, reading for context in the Bible, it's mysterious, it's wonders in it.
It's not mysterious, it's wrong, it's incorrect.
But it's not specific.
It is this. This is an indexical word. This conversation that we're having refers to this conversation we're having. If you're off the app, I can't hear you.
Oh, no, I'm here. Some interpreted this generation to referring the generation living in the times of Jesus. But let's say God called you to read that passage at this moment of your life. It is for a reason, It's the book of life to give you knowledge, but people interpret it at that point in life. Do you know what I mean? Those disciples interpret it as in this generation, as in their generation.
So then that's going to mean that somebody has an incorrect interpretation of it. So for all of the people who read this passage when it wasn't their generation, let's take people who lived in 1500, for example. This generation didn't refer to their generation, but they still wrote this generation. So to these people, this generation either refers to Jesus's generation or their own. If it refers to Jesus's generation, then that's not true, because Jesus did not return before his generation passed away. If it refers to the generation of the person in the 1500s, that's also not true, because that generation also passed away and it didn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. All those generations passed away and it did not happen in that moment, but it's an interpretation, from the disciples. That's how they took it, right? But but that's it's referring to the second coming of Christ, which it obviously, like you said, it hasn't happened yet. Christ hasn't come yet, but that's because he's just saying okay, just know that it's going to happen. I'm going to come through a generation, this generation, but he's reading it in present times, right now, this generation, or 10 years from now, this generation. Do you know what I'm do you know?
Not at all. Wait, so when I say this water bottle, which water bottle am I referring to?
When we're talking about the second coming, right? It is.
But wait. I need an answer to this. I need an answer to this. When I say this water bottle, which water bottle am I referring to?
The water bottle in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And when Jesus says this generation, he's referring to the generation he lived in.
But no, he's referring this generation. If I were to read it right now, if he said it's not specific for a reason. It's specific to it's specific to like this, like how do I say this, like so you can know like how you're reading it, like
does
in
this
present
water
time.
bottle, when I say this water bottle, does that refer to a specific water bottle?
I mean, this water bottle, you're talking about the water bottle that's in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like an
Right.
indexical
But if
word.
you
So
were to
depending on
write
the
a book-
context you use it. So if I say another indexical word is like I say I, and that refers to like this person, like the person Ian, whereas you say I, and that refers to the person Cassidy. We say the same word, but it refers to different things because the word is indexical. It refers to like things just like based on the context. So when I say this water bottle, I'm referring to the one in my hand. And when Jesus says this generation, he's referring to the generation he was a part of.
Okay, listen, if you were to write a book about that water bottle in your hand, talking about this water bottle, right? Like this water bottle that's in my hand, X, Y, and Z, and you died, and somebody read that book 15 years later, they know that you're talking about that water bottle. Like, you're not going to say that water bottle, but you're going to say this water bottle because, like, it's in your hand. But if someone would read it 15 years later, they would understand the context of, like, what you're trying to say about that water bottle. Like, and they're, like, in that present time. Like, do you know, like, that's what I'm... That's
yeah, I
what
totally agree. Yeah, this just, like, slam
Yeah.
dunks on your own point. Yeah, that Jesus is indeed talking about his own generation. Yeah.
No. Look, see, because if you were to have that, if you were to write a book about this, you would say, this water bottle that's in my hand, X, Y, and Z. 50 years later, when you pass away, and then someone reads it, they're going to read it as in this water bottle, da-da-da. And then let's say, like, it was like a motivational like thing that you end up turning that water bottle to like a motivational speech. They're going to read it in a way that's in their present time. Like this water bottle, X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. And they're going to like apply it like to their life in that way. Like
what does this water bottle refer to in their life?
See, that's their interpretation right there. Boom.
No, wait. What?
interpretation.
That was a question. What does it refer to?
It refers to whatever they interpret at that point of their life. That is what in Matthew 24:34 is talking about. It's disciples. It was their interpretation of what Jesus had said at that point.
So why when I say this water bottle, do we agree without like consequence, like really easily, that this water bottle refers to the water bottle in my hand? So when I say this water bottle, we have no problem like understanding which water bottle is being referred to. But when it comes to Jesus, you want to say, well, this is like just completely a matter of interpretation. Like this could mean like anything. It's really whatever you interpret it to be. No, it's not. This refers to the specific thing that the person is a part of.
No, it is an interpretation of the disciples because like we're not God, we're not Jesus, so we don't know when he's going to come back. That's why we have to be prepared. And so it's not for us to rely on our own understanding of what Jesus meant, but for us to just have faith and to trust him as to what his word is. And it's going to be our interpretation because we are like, again, they're in a fallen world. We have free will. It's not like God's going to like, it's their interpretation of what they take it.
So
Like,
let's say I say the sentence, this generation is really funny. Which generation am I referring to?
This generation.
It's not what you refer to. It's the reader. It's from the point of view.
It's from the point of view of the reader.
Because you wrote.
Well, wait. So you think when I say this generation is really funny, if this was in a book, somebody quoted me on this, that the reader would read the sentence, this generation is really funny, and think that the generation I'm talking about is their generation?
Well,
really?
I know that you're talking about, when you say this generation, you're talking about this generation. But when Jesus is saying this generation, I'm not going to rely on my own understanding how you're relying on your own understanding as to what you meant by that.
Then Jesus is like the worst communicator in the history of history. If by this generation, Jesus did in fact not mean that generation, then Jesus is probably the worst communicator to ever walk the face of the earth.
No, that's completely opposite. He's actually like well-rounded, and he said it in a way as he said it so people could understand in the way that they want to interpret it. And that's exactly what the disciples did. At that moment of their life, they needed to hear that because that was their own interpretation that God knew they would take it that way.
So how did the disciples interpret it?
They interpret it as, let me go to the passage right now. Also, I have to tell you about the Damascus thing that I found.
Wait. Let's not be a pivoting parry. Let's just stick with
but
this.
I'm telling you to remember. I want you to remember too that we got that.
Yeah. Wait. But let's just keep on talking about this generation stuff. So, what did the disciples at the time interpret this generation to mean?
24.
Hello?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
What this generation refers to?
I exit out of it and I was going to start talking about how Damascus, how that was in the Bible. But
Wait, but let's not be a pivoting parry. Let's just be a point following Polly. Robert, thank you so much for the $5 on Cash App. W Robert in the comments section. I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to support the stream, Venmo is allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Appreciate any and all support. Thank you so much, Robert. Wait, so I just want to know, do you have an answer to the question, or do I need to move on to the next guest? What is this generation referred to under the disciples' understanding of it?
No, I have an answer. I'll tell you.
What's the answer?
So,
thanks, Peter. Appreciate it. Or thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. W Pete in the comment section. Cameron, thank you so much for the $1 on Venmo. This generation.
That's funny. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Okay. Type depends on the current content and structural applications phrases. Where did it get? Okay. So the way that they interpret it, the disciples of Christ, when Jesus had told them that, they interpret it in a way to be prepared for when Jesus' second coming is. So in that moment, right, as disciples of Christ are to spread the gospel and X, Y, and Z, they interpret it in a way for them to just be prepared.
And be prepared for what?
For whenever Jesus' second coming is, just prepared.
And why would they want to be prepared for that specifically based on the wording?
Because at any moment, the world can end.
Yeah. So you think, how do you get any moment the world can end from this generation? So if I say that the world is going to end during this generation, and then the generation passes, was it true when I said, the world is going to end in this generation? Is that a true statement?
Or when you say it, I am not going to really take your word for it. I much rather would take Jesus' word for it.
Yeah. But would it be untrue if I said the world will end during this generation, the world does not end during this generation? Would that be a true statement or an untrue statement?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be untrue or true, because that is your own, that's what you feel. That's what you feel.
Possible.
So how you feel, I'm not going to diminish how you feel in that moment. If you feel like that, and then that's how you feel.
So you think it's possible for the statement to be true that the world will end during this generation, even if the world doesn't end during this generation? You think that can be a true statement despite not being in line with reality?
I mean, if that's how you feel when you say this right now, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. It's a reason why you feel that need. But again, you're not God. So if Jesus, when Jesus said in the Bible, when he said that, then obviously we're going to rely on our own understanding. We're not going to know why exactly he said that. And you're going to rely on logic as to why he said that. But it's not, the Bible, again, is not based on, for real, it happened in real life, but it's more of a spiritual thing than a logic.
Yes, but it's not based on logic. It's illogical. The Bible is illogical. Yes. So why would I want to believe in a thing that is illogical?
No, because you said, okay, listen, you said it's not logic, right? But it
That's what you
says in
said.
Isaiah, it says in Isaiah about how Damascus, look, this is logic because it happened in real life, how Damascus got blown up. It says, see, Damascus will no longer be a city.
Is
but will
Damascus
become
still a city?
No, it got blown up.
It's still a city.
Okay, but it got blown up. It says,
Yeah,
see,
yeah. So
Damascus
that
will no
means
longer be a
that
city,
yeah. So
but
that
will
means that
become
your
a
point
heap of
isn't true.
ruins.
Wait, so that means that your point isn't true. So if
It is
if it
true.
is if Damascus can still be a city and also get blown up, then that means that Damascus getting blown up actually doesn't fulfill the prophecy because it's
does.
possible for it to get blown up and still be a city. The prophecy is that it's no longer going to be a city. Saying that it got blown up
It'll be a
is
heap of ruins, and that's
mutually
exactly what
is
happened.
mutually compatible with the idea that it still exists, which means that that doesn't prove the prophecy true. It's still a city. You could still go there. Like the entire thing didn't get blown up. It's still a city.
No, it said it'll be a heap of ruins, and that's
It said that it will
exactly
cease to be a city. It's
what
still a city. You
happened.
can still travel to Damascus. It's still a city.
No, not under the conditions they're under right now.
If you were motivated enough, if you could like teleport there, you would be in the
Okay.
city of Damascus.
Okay, see now you playing like you going around it. You're going around it, like like it got. Hold on, let's see. We're gonna look it up for you because you said if you could travel, you said you could still travel.
Wait, so that if you were motivated enough, you could probably get there via one way or another. You could, I don't know, you get like your pilot's license and then go on like a daring expedition that ends with you like jumping out of a plane and like parachuting down to the city of Damascus. If you really wanted to, you could still travel to the city of Damascus. It still exists.
But not them getting blown up.
No, can you prove to me that the city is no longer?
You would not go to Damascus.
Yeah, but it still
Obviously-
exists. There's a lot of places I wouldn't go to, but it still exists.
Yeah, but it will eventually become a heap of ruins. But
Oh,
will
sure, and
become,
until
it
then,
says
the
will
prophecy
become,
has not been
will
fulfilled.
become, as in it will over time, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, wait, but until it ceases to be a city, the prophecy has not been fulfilled.
Well, it will because it's actually in the It's in the moment of happening right now.
Yeah,
There's a
come
reason why it's
back
been
when
getting blown up.
come back when it's been fulfilled. Also, just to say that like this city will eventually end, this like nation will eventually cease to exist. That's not a very interesting prophecy to me. Eventually humans aren't going to be here anymore. When humans aren't here anymore, the cities aren't going to exist anymore. So to say that eventually cities aren't going to exist anymore, that's not a really interesting claim to me. Obviously, they're not going to exist anymore given enough time.
Yeah, but you relying on your own understanding for this. It says it right here in the Bible. Like you can't go around this. Like it's
Yeah,
happening.
prove that the Bible is true.
Yeah, it is true. Like I'm telling you right now, why would the Bible so happen mention Damascus out of nowhere?
The prophecy that hasn't been fulfilled yet. It's still a city. Also, all cities are going to cease to exist eventually. So this prophecy is an inevitability. I could make a prophecy that said, like,
But you're not God.
Like Detroit is going to cease to
you're
exist,
not God.
and like Denver is going to cease to exist, and like Dallas is going to cease to exist, and like
But you're not
Delaware is
God.
going to cease to exist, and all of these statements are inevitably true.
But you're not God.
And what's
also,
wait, but the prophecy,
it gets wronged a lot.
wait. Hold on, because what I'm saying, this doesn't matter because I can make these claims. They aren't interesting prophecies. In order for the prophecy to be evidence, it needs to be a thing that is unlikely to happen. If the prophecy is inevitable, if the prophecy is like the sun will rise tomorrow, and then the sun rises tomorrow, I don't take that to be very strong evidence that I have some like supernatural ability. In the same way that if the claim is just that eventually this city is no longer going to exist, I don't take that as very strong evidence that there's something supernatural going on, insofar as all cities eventually are going to cease to exist.
I mean, of course, because when end times come, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, cool. Well, so in my worldview, eventually humans are no longer going to exist. And at that point, these cities will also no longer exist. So under both worldviews, this prophecy is an inevitability. The only way a prophecy is interesting is if it's unlikely to happen.
But but it's definitely it's happening right now. It's in the
but it's
making.
it's only an interesting prophecy if it's unlikely to happen.
Oh, it's happening.
Which means, so if exactly. So it's not an perfect. It's not evidence. Awesome.
What do you mean?
Because in order for a prophecy to be evidence, it needs to be unlikely. If the prophecy is like tomorrow the sun will rise, or like the sky will be blue tomorrow, or like when I walk outside the sky will be blue. These aren't interesting prophecies.
Okay, well, it also talks about, the Bible also talks about the war that's going on with, that I can't speak on.
Yeah, could you demonstrate that? Where does it say that this war will happen?
I'm going to go ahead and pull it up right now. Right here. The Bible. It's in Zechariah. What the heck?
Yeah, could you read the verse?
I sure will.
It seems like if your prophecies were as strong as you say they are, that presumably you would just have one that's like pretty airtight. But it seems like you're just going from prophecy to prophecy.
No,
and
to show
being
you
completely
multiple,
incapable of defending
to show
it.
you multiple.
You should only need to show me one.
Why?
Because if there's one strong
you give
one,
me multiple questions and multiple questions that you have and logic. So why can't I give you multiple?
Yeah, so you can give me multiple questions, but you're just pivoting from one to another. When I ask you questions, it's all down the same line of thought.
I'm not finished.
Wait. There aren't any. Could you point out the pivot in my argument? Because I can point out the pivot in your argument very specifically. That first we were talking about the generation passing away, that prophecy. Right. You couldn't defend that.
I did. We moved on to another topic.
Well, you didn't, because you haven't proven that this is not indexical, which means that we would just assume that this generation.
I did. I gave you an explanation of what the Bible meant by that, and you, in your own way, didn't understand.
Yeah, wait. So the question, but the question was, what did the disciples interpret it as?
Why are you pivoting when I'm about to pull up?
Wait, because we're rehashing an argument that happened.
Why are we
this isn't a pivot. Wait. Can you give me a definition of pivot? I don't think you know what the words you're talking about are.
Back to what
that's not a pivot. A pivot is to move to a completely unrelated topic. This isn't an unrelated topic, because the claim being made is that you're pivoting all over the place. So I'm just demonstrating to you how you're pivoting all over the place by rehashing the events of the debate. I need to talk about the events of the debate in order to talk about the events of the debate. It's not a pivot. It's just evidence for the claim that I'm making.
What? We already spoke about it, and you went along with the conversation we're on right now. Then in your brain, you said, oh, wait, let's go back to this topic. And that's exactly what you're doing.
No,
so you're pivoting. But when someone else is
you still don't know what that word means.
So we can't go back to something that I already gave you a response
but the reason that it's not, and that you wouldn't understand that, is because you don't know what the word pivoting means.
You wouldn't understand because I already gave you a response, Ian. I already told you
your
that. Your
response was nonsense.
No, to you. It was nonsense to you because you don't have a relationship with Christ to understand. So we're gonna go back.
Wait. So if a relationship, don't pivot. If a relationship with Christ is necessary to understand. If a relationship with Christ is necessary to understand the context and interpret it properly, then why did you have to look up the interpretation? Why wouldn't you just know it?
Because why would I never rely on my own understanding. I'm going to pull up the book.
So you don't rely on your own relationship with Christ. So clearly a relationship with Christ is not sufficient.
It is, because I'm not going to know the entire Bible.
So if it's sufficient, then why did you need to look it up?
Why do you need to look up the Bible verse that you claim that you knew? Because you didn't know it. Exactly.
We're pivoting all over the place. Yeah, of course I don't have the Bible memorized, but I'm not making the claim.
Exactly. I don't have the Bible.
I'm not the one making the claim that you're going to know it automatically if you have a relationship with God, that having a relationship with God gives you the correct interpretation. You're the one who made that claim, and that's obviously not true. But this is getting too much into the meta, so it seems like you're getting demolished on the substance, demolished on the meta. Do you have anything else you want to move to, or should I move on to the next guest?
Well, if you wanted to move on to the next guest this whole time, you should have said that instead of saying nonsense of your own interpretations of everything, because I was about to pull up to you proof of what it says about in the Bible.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's hear it. Yeah.
Oh, so now you want to do that, but before you tried to go back all
yeah,
the
no,
way.
you pivot away to the new point. Go for it. Pivot away to the new point. Go for it. Pivot away to the new point. Go for it.
Go all the way back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, because you said that you didn't pivot away, and I just demonstrated to you that you did pivot away. So pivot to your next point. Go for it. Wait, I don't know. Every time you try to go back to the meta, every time you try to go back to the meta, you just get folded on it. Wait, let's skip the meta, skip the babbling, skip the grandstanding. Let's just get to the substance. What do you want to pivot to next?
Hold on, I have a question, right? You just said that. Why am I looking up my evidence? Because I'm not going to
say why are you looking up your
Yes, you did. You just said
it's because that's incompatible. Because you said
you just forgot.
Wait, because you said that in order to interpret the Bible correctly, you need to have a relationship with God. But that's obviously not true, because even though you have a relationship with God, supposedly, you still needed to look it up, which means that having a relationship with God isn't sufficient for having the correct interpretation of the Bible under your worldview.
It is of mine. Yes, it is.
Then you wouldn't need to look it up. Let's skip the meta. Cassidy,
and that's something that you're not going to understand because you don't have a relationship with it.
Let's skip the meta and get to the substance. What would you like to pivot to next?
Okay, for something that you can understand, because obviously you're lacking understanding right now, I'm going to help you understand.
Yeah.
So back to literally what we talked about before you.
Help me understand the thing that I don't understand by giving me the understanding. Yeah, read it.
Okay. In Zechariah 12, it says that by the arrival of our Messiah, all nations will gather for war against Jerusalem and God's people.
Oh, has the Messiah arrived yet?
That by the arrival, so like, we're in end times, so like, it's coming. And it says, of our Messiah, all nations will gather a war against Jerusalem and God's people. Why do you think in the Bible?
Oh, well, that's not true. So first, that's true. That's not true for two reasons.
How's that not true?
Yeah.
Literally, there's war against Israel.
Let me explain that too.
Palestine right now.
Yeah, let me explain that too. So first of all, it's because there's lots of nations.
How can you explain that to me when you don't know the Bible?
Do you want the explanation?
But wait, how can you explain it to me when you don't know the Bible? What are you?
Well, yeah, because you just read the verse out, so I can demonstrate how the verse that you just read out is not in line with reality.
Okay.
Do you want that explanation, or do you want to keep interrupting? Perfect. So, it's wrong for two reasons. First, because it says by the time that he arrives, that means that these things happen at like synchronicity, or that that part specifically hasn't been fulfilled. Insofar as the Messiah has not returned, that's an unfulfilled prophecy. Two, all the nations of the world are not against Israel. There's many nations who are backing them. Wait, so who do you think the United States supports in the war?
Well, you know who.
Yeah, who do they support?
Palestine.
You think? Wait, you think the United States policy is pro-Palestine? Really? Do you have any evidence of that?
Yes, literally. Why do you think people are donating?
Wait, can you cite a policy? Can you cite a policy?
Listen.
Cite a policy. Go for it.
Listen, why do you think people...
a policy? Wait. The next thing out of your mouth needs to be a policy, because you said that all the nations of the world are going to be against Israel.
Yes,
so cite a policy of the United States. So can you cite an anti-Israel policy from the United States? The next words out of your mouth should be the name of a policy.
Wait, I never said policy.
But so then the nation itself is not against Israel.
Yes, as a nation, yes, everyone is. We are like pretty much a lot of people.
Wait, yeah, what do you think the distribution is?
Don't you see like the what is it? The riots and all the stuff that's going on against Israel and against free Palestine, like help Palestine. Like, don't you see all of that? And it's because, but also people aren't educated. Everybody sees what they see on the news, and they don't do their own. They don't look up their own understanding of this. They look at everything on the news, and so people.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're describing. But if we wanted to look at statistics, if we wanted to look at statistics, what we would see is that a large majority of people, or just like a huge chunk of people at the very least, are pro-Israel pretty like succinctly. That in fact it is quite unpopular to be pro-Palestine.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't know that because you don't look at statistics. What you look at is like TikTok debates.
No. People are pro-Palestine, yes, and what is happening in Palestine is very unfortunate right now. But to be pro-Palestine is to go against Israel, and that's exactly what happened in the Bible. People in this chat don't even know that Palestine would literally, if you're black, if you're not Muslim, like you don't believe in God, if you were to go to Palestine, if you were gay people who are supporting Palestine, if y'all were all to go to Palestine, y'all would die. They will literally kill y'all.
What do you think? So that's nice, but what do you think the point that was being made there was? What was my argument, and how do you think that responds to it, or do you not know?
Your argument was about what?
You have no idea. You were just grandstanding.
Because I low key wasn't listening.
Yeah, I know. We can tell. It's been clear.
Bro, because what be coming out your mouth don't make sense.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know if it makes sense or not, because as you say, you weren't listening.
I wasn't. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, wait, so if you weren't listening, then how do you know that what I'm saying doesn't make sense? How can you say that something doesn't make sense if you weren't listening?
Okay, then repeat it, please.
Oh, cool. Awesome. W concession. So the point is just going to be that at the policy level, the United States policy is heavily in line with Israel, as are many other nations, which means that it makes no sense at all whatsoever to say that all of the nations of the world are going to be against Israel during the coming times, when that's not the case. And it also doesn't make sense to say that the Messiah will return
which means it's in
when
the
he hasn't returned yet.
Making. And then especially with this new election coming up, we're definitely gonna be able to know the truth, bruh.
Yeah,
Especially
cool. Wait, so then come back then.
It's in the works.
So it's in the works. So the prophecy hasn't been fulfilled. It's just in the works. Awesome.
I said that. Look, I said the Bible talks about current events that are going on. I never said that has been fulfilled. It's in the making. Both prophets, both scriptures I pulled up. I said that it's in the making for both of them. So that's exactly what's happening.
Oh, perfect. So then you have 0 fulfilled prophecies. So I don't care.
I mean, you don't have to care, but look, it's right here in your face. Like, guys, everybody needs to repent.
Well, it's not right there in my face because you have 0 fulfilled prophecies. None of your prophecies have been fulfilled.
Because it's in the making. Like,
it's quite literally not in the making.
Like,
it's not in the making because the specific claim is that Jesus is going to return at this time and all the nations are going to be against Israel. That's not true.
No, it doesn't say this time, babe. It says by, which means by, like it's going to.
Wait, you almost said it. By the what? By the.
Look.
By the wait, by the what?
Okay, it says by the arrival of our Messiah. By the arrival of our Messiah. It doesn't say this. It says by the arrival.
And when does the arrival happen? At a specific what?
See, look, you're not gonna know.
At a specific what? Fill in the blank. At a specific blank, the arrival happens.
And that brings us back to the first thing of we're never gonna know when Jesus is gonna come.
Yeah. So you have no evidence, and it's just nonsense.
Well, I'm not. The Bible has the evidence for you, but for you to understand.
No, because we just went through the Bible and there was no evidence.
I just read it to you. Why do you think they started talking about, why do you think all nations will gather for war against Jerusalem? Why do you think it's so specific, huh? Why do you think that?
Well, that's not in line with reality. So it was probably pretty specific because they cared a lot about Jerusalem at the time. Unfortunately for them, because they weren't omniscient, because this was written by humans, they didn't know that this actually wouldn't be the case, because it's not the case right now. All the nations of the world are not against Israel. The United States sending weapons to Israel is not them being against Israel. Thanks so much, Dad. Appreciate it.
Okay. No. Hold on.
Nuh-uh. Gotcha. Do you have a real argument, or should I move on to the next guest?
Okay. So in John 3:16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son." That it's been proved. I've actually seen. Well, to prove it, we can look that up, low key. Like,
yeah, prove it. Yeah, give the evidence.
Let me finish. So whoever believes in him should not perish,
Prove it.
but have everlasting life.
Prove it.
And everlasting life is like heaven.
Prove it.
But I have a question. Wouldn't you much
wait,
rather...
whoa. Prove it. Prove any of that.
Prove what?
The thing that you just said, the claims that you just made, prove it.
Oh, that God is real? Or...
Well, that God gave his only begotten son and that there's like heaven after. Prove it.
Well, I'm not dead, so I don't know about...
Gotcha. So you cannot prove it. So you said earlier, you said that there was proof for all of that. Now you're walking that back. You're saying that you actually can't prove it, that there actually isn't proof of it. Gotcha. So you can't prove any of that. So if you can't prove it, I'm not going to accept it.
Listen. If you were to build a relationship with Christ, you would know that he is real. You would feel his presence. So and obviously in the book of life, it's real. Like you ever done something and felt bad for it?
Of course.
So what do you think? Why do you think you feel bad for what you be doing?
Yeah, probably just because of evolutionary mechanisms meant to keep society in a specific way related to there's an evolutionary reason why we have things like shame or embarrassment or
shame.
guilt even. Shame.
But there are things that other people don't feel shame for, and there's things that you feel shame for. But what do you think that is? Obviously, shame, or even just I don't know, just things like that.
How does
that's
this
a
prove
sin.
it?
You feel these feelings for a reason.
But how does that prove it?
Because you feel these things for a reason. That's a spirit. Right then and there. It's not about logic. I can't prove it to you.
Gotcha. So you can't prove any of the claims that you're making. So if you can't prove it, if you have no proof for any of these claims, then why would I accept any of these claims?
Because it's based off your personal experience, Ian. you're gonna have to.
So then my personal experience is that it's all fake. Perfect.
And then you'll be able to understand. That's what it is. And I remember the first time you told me you did grow up in a church, and then I'm sorry that what happened to you and you got church hurt and you just didn't understand. But you're we're in a new generation now, and that you can if you were to go out and seek and build a relationship with Christ yourself, you would be able to understand just how I am. Right now it seems like nonsense to you, but that's because you just don't have an actual you don't have a relationship with God. So you're just gonna see everything from you're gonna see it from a world view.
You almost said from a logical perspective. Yeah, correct. I'm glad we can agree that my perspective is the logical one and your perspective is the illogical one.
The logic isn't everything. Spirits are real, okay? And wouldn't you much rather
wait, prove it.
Listen.
Hold on, prove it. Prove that spirits are real. Prove it.
Wouldn't you much rather want to believe in something than not?
Gotcha. Just moving past the claim, you can't prove it. Awesome.
Wait, what'd you say? I wanted to get my words out. What'd you say?
You said spirits are real. Prove it.
Oh, you okay, boom. Why do you think, also of movies, exorcism movies and stuff like that be happening and stuff like that. Why do you think there be upside down crosses? You never seen an upside down moon with a star. You never seen an upside down Buddha or none of that.
And what claim is this meant to prove?
That spirits be real, bro, because
spirit. Wait, let me just make sure I'm tracking the argument correctly. So spirits are real because I've never seen an upside down crescent moon with a star in the middle of it before, despite the fact that, of course, an upside down crescent moon would be the same. But because I've never seen this before, that means that spirits are real. So why is the fact that I've never seen these things mean that spirits are real?
That's because it's living in you, low key. Because for you to come on here and to say that God isn't real, that's a spirit. That is devil in the works of trying to distort the truth. Prove that it. Right there. So you're not
prove it.
Prove it. I don't know you. I don't know your life.
Gotcha. So you're making you're making more claims that you can't prove. Perfect.
Okay, this is logic for you. That did you know scientists recently discovered, or I think Ben just, when you speak to water in a certain way, it moves different. There was literally, there was a documentary.
Yeah, well, so that would seem reasonable insofar as there's different, depending on the words that you're making or the sounds that you're making with your mouth, it there's like waves that are coming out and it's going to
But they
affect the
weren't meaning
water.
it that way. They meant like I think they had said like they had said like I love you or like Jesus or something, and then like the water it started moving differently, but not in a bad way.
What do you mean moving?
Like it started like, you know, just being still and just being like, you know, like not like crashing.
So it was so it was moving and then it became still. What was the source of the movement?
You know, just being there.
You think,
water just moving. But then when they spoke to it,
so you think water just like chilling around in like a bottle or whatever, like a glass? You think that water is moving?
yeah, water do be moving.
So what's moving it?
Shoot. But then when they
Yeah,
spoke
I'm gonna move
to
past that one, sure.
cheese sauce. I'm saying, well, no, I'm African. Anyway, so no, back to what were we talking about? I just pivoted to talk about water. So what were we talking about?
Yeah, you were still trying to prove that spirits are real.
Oh yeah, spirits are definitely real. Why do you think they're Satanists?
Because I think most of them are just like trolling Christians, quite frankly. But I think that the people who genuinely do believe in Satanists probably believe in Satan. So why are people's varying religious beliefs proof that spirits are real?
Because Satanists, they have a mission, right? To harm people of Christ. And that is a spirit. Like that's and there's
Prove
why
it.
do you think there's what are those people that like talk to the moms and stuff like that? They read stuff?
Whoa. Prove
Why do you think
it.
they're
Wait. Prove it. Prove that these people are possessed by spirits. Prove it.
Well, I can't prove that because I don't know them. Like
Awesome.
I don't want to be near that.
Awesome. Okay. I'm probably gonna move on to the next guest, but I do appreciate you coming on up here.
Okay, I'm gonna pray for you.
Okay, sounds good. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen if you're enjoying the debates. Make sure you drop a follow. Dadberg, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Share it with your friends. Do all that good stuff. Double tap on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 150K likes. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. That we can go to the very next guest. Yeehaw! Thank you so much, Spam Critters. Appreciate that.
Hey Ian, how you going, my brother?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm from Australia here. If you didn't work out the accent,
Are you?
my brother.
Is this real? Or are we trolling?
No, I'm real, brother. I'm from Australia, man.
Could you name 5 Australian cities?
Oh, absolutely. Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin.
Okay.
My brother, I'm from a place called Queensland, which is sort of. Have you heard of Brisbane?
Yeah, I've heard of Brisbane.
Anyway, my brother, I wanted to bring up something different.
Wait.
Sorry,
Do
my brother.
you believe that God is real?
Look, I don't believe in God as in the Christian God. I don't.
Would you believe in like
My
the
family-
Jewish God or the Muslim God?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm only looking to debate people who believe in the Jewish God or the Muslim God. I'm sorry. You seem like a nice enough bloke, but alas, I'm only looking to debate people who hold these beliefs. Otherwise, I find it gets quite boring. Hey, what's up, Skylar? How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah. And what year were you born?
2006.
Okay. So, what religion are you?
I'm Christian.
Okay. What's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
So I'd like to. Can I reference something you talked about in the last one you talked?
Depends.
With Cassidy, you were talking about. I'm talking about one of your points. You talked about Matthew 24:34.
I mean, I'd prefer not to. If you have like an argument for why the Bible is real, I'd prefer to just hear that.
Okay. So, the Bible's been mentioned across many, like, I'd say Roman historians, as long as you...
Such as?
Tacitus.
Yeah, so Tacitus, it was, I think for Tacitus, it was edited in. Tacitus is the one who wrote the Annals, correct? Or am I?
Let me look. I have my source pulled up right here.
Because I'm pretty sure that If I remember correctly, the critique of this one is just that this is like a thing that was edited into later versions of the annals of Jewish history.
Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you for informing me. What about Flavius Josephus?
Josephus lived, I think, 200 years after Christ, or like 100 years after. I just don't think so. I think that at like a specific point, it starts to get like unreliable.
Okay, so like you would say after like 100 years, you think it gets unreliable dimensions?
Yeah, it's just not really like a first-hand account anymore, you know?
Yeah, I understand. So are you atheist, agnostic?
Yeah, I'm atheistic towards your God. That's true. Yeah.
Okay. So do you believe that the universe like was and always is, or do you believe that it was created at like a certain point?
I think that the universe has always existed because I think time has necessarily always existed. Otherwise, you run into like weird paradoxes. Like you'd have to affirm that there was like a time with no time.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you believe like the Big Bang theory or what?
Yeah, I do. I think that the evidence points towards the Big Bang pretty decisively.
I'm not too educated on that. Could you explain it just a little bit?
Yeah. So the Big Bang is just the idea that there was like, from an extremely hot, dense state, there was a rapid expansion. We have like lots of evidence for this. I think like the most like crucial piece of evidence is that the universe used to be extremely small. There's a certain type of radiation that exists all throughout the world called cosmic microwave background radiation. Now this is radiation that it was like predicted under the Big Bang, and then they went out and they found it in line with the theory. It just indicates that the universe used to be extremely hot and extremely dense, that at T0 or at 10 to the negative 33 seconds after T0, whatever it was around, the universe was around the size of a human. It was extremely small. The universe got a lot bigger. As we can clearly see, the universe is a lot bigger than just a human. We also know that the universe is like continuing to expand. So it used to be really small. It got bigger and it's continuing to get bigger. It just seems that we have a lot of evidence to suggest that a rapid expansion occurred.
So it was like extremely dense. So it's like all the matter that is now was in that space at that time, or
yeah,
it's like might have been created
in some form. Yeah.
Okay. I had okay. So do you think that Jesus is made up, or do you think he existed as a person?
I think he was a person. I have no evidence that he was like supernatural or like the son of God, any of that.
Okay. So you believe the Bible is like not a historical account. You believe it as like it's just completely made up, or what?
I think that there's like certain parts of it that attempt to be historical accounts. I think that all the supernatural stuff is most certainly made up. Yeah.
Okay. Trying to figure out of a talking point I want to go off of here. Oh, I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah, I can ask you some questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is one that I think is really interesting. Why do you think God would give us the ability to do some evils but not others?
What do you mean not able to do others?
So I can't blow somebody up with my mind, right? Like this isn't part of the anatomy that God gave me. But God gave like people in general, we have like the anatomy that enables things like horrific things like rape to occur. I'm not sure why, if God had no problem saying like, you will not have the anatomy to blow up other people with your minds, why he wouldn't also say like, you will not have the anatomy to grape people, because that's like unnecessarily evil.
Well, for one, I think I understand the example of blowing up with minds, but I think that the reason the ability given to do bad things was because we were given free will, and he wants us to be able to like to choose not to do those things and to follow him. And it's more of like a test of, I wouldn't call it temptations, but a test of the opportunity to do those things that makes you fall into like believing in Christ. But honestly, I've never heard that point made, the ability to do some things and not others, so I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah, okay, so, and that's like totally valid. So you would just say, if I asked you the question, why did God not give us the ability to like blow each other up with our minds? If your explanation is true, that he wants us to be like tested and he wants us to like just choose not to, you would just say that you're not too sure, which is like fine. That's a fine answer.
Yeah, that's what
okay. I say. We can do earthquakes, I guess. If God's all good, why do you, like, whose will do you think earthquakes stem from?
I think that earthquakes stem from God's will. I think that's it's going to go back to my point of it being a test. I think God has these natural things that just create harm and just create bad as a test to see if we can keep strong with our faith. And still have faith in him, even though these bad things are happening. And it's just all trials and tribulations that we have to go through in our lives to make sure that our faith is strong enough to go to heaven with him.
Okay, but do you think that because earthquakes take like the lives of a lot of people, I could maybe understand this if what earthquakes did like actually tested faith, but insofar as like lots of people just like lose their lives, that would seem to be strong evidence that that's probably not the case. Another really strong piece of evidence, if you ever look up like a map of like where earthquakes happen, they happen along the borders where
tectonic plates.
of tectonic plates, which seems to indicate that these are a phenomena that don't result from somebody's will, but rather like somebody like willing like this earthquake will happen, but rather just from like a physical structure, which means that I'm like kind of I don't know, that seems implausible.
Well, I don't think I was necessarily saying that earthquakes are like God's like saying I want this earthquake.
Sure, okay.
Like he's willing that into existence. I'm saying more. I think that those things just happen as tests. But I understand your point. Like tectonic plates. I've gone through all that, science classes, all that.
Yeah.
But I was going. Could I talk about Matthew 24?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, why not?
So you spoke about Matthew 24:34, and you were saying like talking about this, as in this generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could that be true if it's talking about this generation? And I was just like, could I bring in a little bit of context? Because
Matthew, go for it. I'd love to hear
Matthew
it. Sure.
24, the beginning of that, it's talking about when Jesus comes back. So if you go like to the very beginning, it's talking about when Jesus returns. So I my explanation for him saying this generation is he's speaking in a future tense when he says this and not a current tense. He's talking about the generation that is to exist when he returns in Matthew 24:34.
Okay, but that seems to be out of line with like the specific context of the verse, because he was like addressing the disciples. So it seems like he was saying that like all of this stuff will happen, and then this generation will not pass away before this happens. I think I'm unclear as to how this generation, why Jesus would use the word this generation as opposed to like that generation.
I think I couldn't tell you why it's this instead of that. It might just do all translations say this?
I think so, yeah, because this is like certainly going to be a different word than that, I would presume. I don't know. I don't have the expertise to make that claim, actually.
I don't have the expertise to translate from Greek or anything like that, so I can't say.
If Justin is around, I don't know if he is, but no, he's like super chill. He could probably like clarify that. I don't know if Justin or no, it doesn't seem like he is. That's fine. No, I guess I just don't really have the expertise on hand to make that claim. I don't know. I could certainly look into that, and if you wanted to reconvene.
Yeah, I'd love to reconvene. Well, yeah, I just had a few things I just wanted to talk about. I think it's really great talking to you. I love the fact that you're talking to people about this, and I'm sorry for everyone that's been rude to you. That's not
No, it's okay. No, I don't know. These are the conversations that I appreciate with people who are like very willing to like answer questions, not preach, not yap, not whatever. You were like a phenomenal guest. I appreciate it. I dropped you a follow, so if you ever wanted to come back on the future to talk about more stuff, I'd love to hear it.
All right. God bless you. Have a good day, man.
Yep, you as well. Appreciate it. Let's get a W guest going in that comment section. I always love it when the guest can track and can engage with points. That's pretty cool. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older and that you that you have like an argument for why God is real and that you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't believe in those, probably not going to talk to you. Keep on double tapping that screen on up. Let's get all the way up to 150K. Share it with your friends. Do all that good stuff. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hello, how you doing, man?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 22 of age.
Yeah. What religion are you?
I'm a non-denominational Christian.
Okay. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
I was gonna start off with you. I just joined. I didn't know that you wanted us to start off with a point. I was gonna go based off you. I've been hearing you talk about like prophecies.
A little bit.
So let me just say like one example. So are you familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yes, although that's not gonna help you if this is like trying to prove that Jesus is God. The Dead Sea Scrolls certainly aren't going to help you.
Why wouldn't that?
Because the Dead Sea Scrolls are just an early form of the Old Testament.
Yeah, it's an early form 20,000 years before the Bible was even created.
Yeah, which is why none of what appears in the Dead Sea Scrolls
so that's why
is about Jesus.
Yeah, but it talks about a ultimate sacrifice. It talks about something that's going to take on.
Also, wait, the number of years that you said is like crazy inaccurate.
So let me.
Oh wait, I should probably clarify. Hey, if you're off the app right now, I can't hear you. The only way that I go is if you actually come back to the app. And
I'm just googling it real quick. It was just I obviously it's before Christ, but I just want to make sure that it's exactly what I was saying, or roughly around how many years I was saying.
You said 20,000?
Yeah, I said 20,000.
And you think that that's accurate?
Yes.
According to which source?
That's why I'm gonna go. Just make sure I go pull it up.
Okay, go for it. Will, thank you so much for the $1 on Cash App.
If you don't know, do you know how many years ago?
I don't know the exact. I know 20,000 is like certainly wrong. Maybe I don't know. I don't even want to guesstimate. Maybe like 500 to 1,000, but I'm not sure.
The Dead Sea Scrolls were written 500 or 1,000 years ago.
Oh, it seems like 2,000 is what people are saying in chat.
It wouldn't be even 2,000 because it has to be before Christ. And Christ is walking 2,000 years ago. So it has to be even more before that.
Yeah. But like 2,000 years before Christ, I think is the claim.
Oh, okay.
So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. But just keep on double tapping on that screen while we wait for this.
Yeah, and they're right. So there's 2,000 years before Christ. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. So how do you think the Dead Sea Scrolls prove the existence or like the truth of Christ?
It's just because it talks in detail about the same teachings of the Bible and stuff, and it talks about obviously the Old Testament, and it talks about a ultimate sacrifice coming. And
it doesn't talk about the Old Testament. It is the Old Testament.
That's what I'm saying. It talks about like it's the whole entire Old Testament. That's what I'm saying. It's 2,000 years before the quote unquote Old Testament is coming.
So which part of this proves that like Jesus is real, or like
those people are writing about it 2,000 years before, not even 2,000 years, 4,000 years before Christ is even alive. Before they even know, people know he's going to cease to exist. So that proves that it's a prophecy, that it's not just like you were describing earlier about it's something that you can just tell outside. Like it is a.
Could you give me the exact wording of the prophecy?
Sure. What of the ultimate sacrifice?
Yeah, I just want to hear that.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Will, thanks so much for the $1 on Cash App. W Will in the comment section. I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. If you want to join the community, you want to be there at community night tonight. We're playing video games. We're playing, I think, Among Us. I think we're also going to play Fall Guys. I love Fall Guys. It's a lot of fun. Then like Jackbox games or something. If you're 18 or older, you want to play like games for the community night tonight and every Saturday, I'd love to see you there. The link is in the bio, but it's also discord.gg/allegedly Ian. It's a great place. I love it there. I also notify you every time I go live, so you'll never miss a live because you will always be notified. And I think that that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. That's pretty rad. But yeah, just keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends while we wait for this guest to bring up the prophecy related to the sacrifice that is mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But make sure you're dropping a follow, doing all that good stuff. if you want to become a member of the community, I appreciate any and all subscriptions too, that you get access to cool emotes like the pivoting Perry emote or the hot to go emote. So you'll always be able to respond with the proper emote to the proper time. But no, I always appreciate it. We're currently working on in the Discord, like merging the Discord with like the subscription feature. So if you are a subscriber to the stream, you'll have a subscriber role in the Discord itself as well. But we're working on that. Guest, are you back? Do you have like what verse it refers to or what verse it is? Guest, are you there?
I'm just looking for it because I wasn't expecting you to always make sure all my articles are right, because I wasn't expecting just to have everything set in stone. So I was just going to try to debate about what's going on, even and like you asked me a question then, because let me see if I can answer. Or what's the reason why you don't believe in God?
Yeah, wait, it was Vyara, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. W Vyara in the comment section, W666, W Satan, hail Satan, appreciate it. So the reason why I don't believe in God, I just have like a lot of reasons. I think a lot of arguments are really compelling. I think that the universe necessarily always existed, so I don't think it can have a creator. I think that the existence of gratuitous natural evils is like completely unjustifiable under the theist worldview. I think that the fact that God loves us and wants a relationship with us, but like lots of people go their entire lives being open to this relationship, but not doing it because they don't know if God exists, that he doesn't give us enough evidence, that he allows people to like not know that he exists, which allows us to be like we're not able to get into a relationship with God because you need to know that the other person exists in order to form the relationship in the first place. I also think that what we know about the world seems to be pretty out of line with like what the Bible talks about. The Bible talks pretty extensively about, or it's like the theory of evolution seems to be pretty incompatible with it. Big Bang seems to be pretty incompatible with it. I just think that there's like lots of reasons why I wouldn't believe.
Me personally, I feel like the Bible and science can be hand in hand. I don't think it can be like separate, because I believe in both, obviously. But like when it comes like because you said that the universe always existed.
Yep.
Because according to the Big Bang, that means it didn't exist; it just came into existence. Correct.
So the Big Bang is like our current current iteration of the universe that we live in. But I think that time necessarily always existed. Otherwise, you run into like weird contradictions, like weird paradoxes. Like you'd have a time before time.
Yeah,
and I have like formal arguments for that too, if you want to hear them. But
yeah, I would like to hear them.
Thank you so much. So
I'd like to hear them. Yeah.
The argument's just going to be that time can't have a beginning because one, a beginning is a change of states, that it goes from non-existence to existence. Two, a change of states is a change. Three, a change requires a before and an after. Four, a before and after requires a past, present, and future. And five, a past, present, and future requires time, which means that in order for time to begin, time would already need to exist, which means that time cannot begin, because if it did begin, then time would already exist, which means that it would both exist and not exist at the exact same time. You'd have a time without time, which to me means that time must have always existed.
Yes, and that would be the same thing for me. If of course, I would explain how I believe that God has always existed. Same thing, you'll be saying that time would always be existed. So, and we have to have a whole bunch of things to prove our claims, but we just can't at the end of the day.
Well, no, because I can prove this, right? Like you would agree with like literally every part of this, right? Like you would agree that a beginning is a change of states, and presumably you would agree that a change of states is a change.
Yes, if something is beginning, that means something had to make it begin.
No, that's not the claim. The claim is that if something begins, then there's a change, that it didn't exist and now it does exist. That this is a change, that non-existence is not the same thing as existence, which means that we have a change there.
Yeah, but I would see that as a cause and effect then.
Yeah, so I'm saying that this cannot...
With beginning, something has to make something happen to make that begin, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm saying that it doesn't have a beginning. That's my argument, is that there's no beginning.
But it can't be both.
Yeah, so I'm rejecting the one that says that it has a beginning.
So you're rejecting the Big Bang Theory.
No, because the Big Bang Theory only describes the current iteration of our universe. We have no reason to believe that there wasn't something that happened before the Big Bang. In fact, it seems like our universe goes through cycles of big bounces and big crunches, that there's like a rapid expansion followed by a rapid contraction followed by a rapid expansion, that the Big Bang is just one rapid expansion, and that in some trillions of years, there's going to be a contraction, which will eventually end up in the same small starting points that will result in another bounce effect.
Okay. Let's see. Another point that you made, that you said that God says that he claims to love or have a relationship with people, but there's multiple instances where he's talking about having a relationship with people in the Bible, of course. And you're saying, what evidence does it show?
No. So the argument for divine hiddenness is just that there's some people who, if they knew God existed, they would worship him, they would love him, they would form like a knowing, loving, conscious relationship with him.
Yes.
We have these people who are non-resistant non-believers, and they will go their entire lives without being without ever believing, because they just never. They never know that God exists, which means that they can't form the relationship. If God loves us, then he would always make the relationship available to us, that we would always have this option, and he would want us to take this option. And if we're just like a quick, really easy, convincing away that he exists from being in a relationship with him, if all I'm asking for is just evidence that he exists, that the other party exists, or the non-resistant non-believer, if that's all they want, and God wants us to be in the relationship, then why would God not provide sufficient evidence to the non-resistant non-believer?
Yeah. So the sufficient evidence will be that he gave his only son to come down on earth.
Prove
there's
it.
multiple.
Prove it.
It will be the 500 counts of witnesses seeing that he'd been crucified. There's
where can I read those 500 individual accounts?
In the New Testament.
Gotcha. So you're saying that the Bible is true because of another part of the Bible.
Let's say.
What's your proof that the Bible itself is true?
Because it's historical context. It's historical writings.
It's very much not. We have no evidence
it's literally multiple eyewitnesses showing that he is existing. Just like, let's say, for example, is Christopher Columbus a person?
He existed,
right? That's like saying Jesus didn't exist, because you want to know why? Did you see Christopher Columbus in person?
No, so I can give you the account of.
Real quick, can I finish my point?
Yeah. So I have not seen him in person, but this is going to be disanalogous because I have evidence.
That's
Christopher Columbus's the events actually happened.
No, exactly. So, and the same thing for when it comes to the coming of Christ. All those things were documented, and when it comes to Christopher Columbus, everything was documented and written down and passed through all the way to modern times, passed down, to know that Christopher Columbus is existing. So it's the same logic when it comes to Jesus Christ. We don't.
No, it's going to be quite different. We have Let's stick with this one, because that's quite different. We have the literal journal of Christopher Columbus. We have the journals of the people around Christopher Columbus verifying that this existed. We do not know who wrote any of the Gospels. They were all written anonymously, and many of them were written.
That's false. They were not
time.
Written,
sure. So could you show me in Luke where Luke claims credit for writing the Gospel?
Which
verse is that?
It's in the title of Luke.
Oh yeah, wait. So do you think that when this was found, do you think that the oral tradition was titled?
And no, and when just like the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's not a whole bunch of different headings and titles.
Let's not pivot away.
Oh no,
where in Luke? I'm just saying, where in the verses of Luke
saying
is
that
Luke given the credit?
So, and you can say that for any scripture mostly in every
perfect.
No, exactly. But
awesome. So then you have no evidence that it was written by Luke.
No, the evidence is people are they're talking in first person, and they're writing about their own interactions with Jesus Christ, and they're using their own. There's instances in the Bible that are talking in first person and talking to God.
Talking to Jesus Christ. Wait, have you read The
Yes,
Bible?
the Gospels. Yes.
Wait, you think Luke is written
No,
first person from Luke's perspective?
No, I'm saying not Luke. I know for when it comes to of John, there's John. Let me.
Wait, we got a runner. God, what is it? How does it go? Damn. Lights out, game over. You've just been obliterated publicly, folded like a chair, caught with your pants down. I think that's the copy pasta. But make sure you're dropping a follow if you're enjoying the debates, so you never miss a single debate in the future. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly -Ian, Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Let's get all the way up to 170K. I see y'all there double tapping. Appreciate that. Appreciate y'all. With that, we can try to find a suitable next guest. If you're in that guest request box, only join if you're 18 or older and you have proof or an argument for why God is real, and also if you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. Hey, what's up, Truth? How's it going?
Okay, so I'm not like 18.
Well, you gotta be like 18. Sorry. If you're not 18, don't request to join. It's just that simple. Oh, wait, guest is back. Hey, what's up?
I wasn't running away. I just swiped to go to Google, and I couldn't because it was on accident. It went to another live, so I wasn't running.
No, that's fine.
So I'm just saying there's multiple examples when people are having dialect with Jesus, and that just shows that they're having conversation with them and they're writing down the events that happened with him.
Wait, am I tripping? I thought that this was written from like a third person perspective. I thought the Gospels were written like third person.
I believe so. But there's instances where they're talking about just one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, so that's not first person. That's not writing from like the perspective of Luke. That's writing from the perspective of like a third person observer.
Yeah,
so this wouldn't be like, that would be weird even for Luke to write this way. If it was, because typically if I was writing my account of something, then it would be first person.
But another thing, I feel like it's not honestly a bad way to write, because obviously it's one of the number one books, or second books in the world that's one of the most popular books. I feel like the reason why it was written like that because it was inspired by God, and that's the reason why it's written the way it is, because God talks in a lot of parables. He talks in a lot of third person. He talks in a lot of ways to make people see it from a bird's eye view.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the proof that the Bible is true, though, because we don't know. The Gospels were written anonymously. Nowhere in the Gospels are they claimed by Mark, Matthew, Luke, or John. So what's the evidence that these are?
But look, we have a whole bunch of historical evidence that shows where certain places were and where those things happened. Like even when it comes to Sodom and Gomorrah, and when the sulfur, it talks about how the fire sulfur balls hit Sodom and Gomorrah. When you go, scientists just discovered not too long ago, the area of Sodom and Gomorrah where those sulfur balls are. Those pure sulfur balls are. So when you talk about
can I get like a peer reviewed study on that? Because every time I've looked into this, it seems to be that these have they're carbon dated as way out of line with the timing that they were supposed to.
But even if it's way out of the timing, the area of what they spoke of still has the sulfur that was described in the Bible.
It's possible that they're talking about a real place. So even just because it refers
the whole entire Africa is literally where described Sodom and Gomorrah is. So obviously when they said that story, they saw that.
Yeah, so do you think that Spider-Man is a true story because it talks about the real place of New York?
Because geologists even said and claimed.
Wait. Do you think? Let's do the Odyssey. Do you think the Odyssey is a true story because
I don't know about the Odyssey.
Yeah, so in the Odyssey, they go from island to island after I think the Peloponnesian War, but I could be wrong.
Is this a movie? Is this not?
It's a book from ancient Greece written by Homer, I think, where it discusses Odysseus, this valiant hero who fights all of the mythical mythical creatures and like ventures back home to Ithaca, a real place that actually existed. So do you think that like cyclopses and like harpies are real because they were written about in the Odyssey?
If I'm being truly honest with you, if you start looking into the Book of Enoch too, it talks about different creatures and different things of that nature. So when it comes to like even different gods and different creatures, angels, fallen angels, whatever you want to call them, giants, all that, I honestly do believe in those things because that's what's depicted in the Book of Enoch of, Nephilim and all that. So I would say, yeah.
So you think the Odyssey is a true story about venturing back home?
Not based off the contextual evidence of that book, but based off the book of the Bible and the books of the Bible.
Yeah, but the logic that you apply to this, just saying like, well, it's a real place, this also locks you into saying that Odyssey is true, which is nonsense. This means that you think that like...
What?
Like Athena is real and Hera is real and Zeus is real and this entire pantheon of gods are real because these all appear in the Odyssey. They all give their blessing to Odysseus in the Odyssey. So would you affirm that Athena is a real goddess who actually exists?
Yeah.
So then you're going to super hell.
How would I go to super hell?
Yeah, because you're saying that there are gods other than the God you believe in. That's it's blasphemy.
There's many little g gods. Yeah, that God, like I was saying, like when it comes to God, my authority is God. He's Elohim, Yahweh. He's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He's the ultimate person. He's the person that created everything and all things. And he gave those things free will, like angels that have fallen and had sex with humans and made Nephilim and different God of Athena, Zeus, all these different little mini gods. I wouldn't even call them God, but they're many gods that have no type of power. Like even when they see like Aztecs or any, I'm not sure.
That's not true, right? Because like Zeus and if you think the Odyssey is true, that these gods do have power because they exercise their powers.
No, they have
like
power.
Poseidon gets mad and he like causes like a storm.
Of course,
Athena grants her like wisdom to them. I think like a certain number of times.
I believe in sirens. I believe in all things of that nature. But at the same time, they even if they have power, but they have no power over the ultimate God. If that makes sense, there are many gods.
Oh, I thought. Oh, so you would just like reject? You would just reject like the first commandment then, that you shall hold no gods other than me.
No, I don't hold them. I do not believe them. That would be making me believing.
You don't believe them?
No.
So wait, do they exist or do they not exist?
I don't have. Okay, let me correct my wording. I don't have faith into those gods. I don't have a belief system in those gods. Like I don't worship those gods. Only God that I worship is Yahweh. God.
But you think that all of these other gods are real?
Because it is depicted in the Book of Enoch. All Nephilim's different creatures, like splices and all that, there's a lot of different mini demigods, whatever you want to pit on it. We call them fallen angels and Nephilim. But I'm saying I still believe in those things to a certain degree. Like I believe when you say gods, we don't say they're gods. We just call them Nephilim.
Do you think
fallen angels? I believe that all those things that you're describing, sirens, like anything you think of, I think those are fallen angels.
Do you think it's true that Poseidon controls the oceans?
Sure.
Do you think it's true that Zeus creates like the lightning bolts?
He could.
Do you think it's true that Apollo flies the sun across the sky every day?
I don't know. I don't see them flying across the sky every single day. I'm not claiming that every single thing that exists in books are correct, but I know for me, there is depicted in the Book of Enoch. There are different creatures and different, like many demigods. Period.
Yeah, but the position that you've locked yourself in. Birch, thank you so much for the paper. I appreciate that. Is that you have to affirm that the Odyssey, that all the events that happen in the Odyssey are also true.
I didn't say everything in the Odyssey. And that's why I tried to make sure. No, I didn't.
Because Ithaca is a real place, right? So that means the Odyssey is real.
No, I said based off the contextual evidence of the Odyssey, I never read the Odyssey, I would not say I claim that everything in the Odyssey is correct.
So you're saying that the Bible is true. You said the Bible is true because of the places that it references. But the Odyssey references Ithaca, so that's a real place.
I know it's just me and you in conversation, but I know a lot of people are saying like Greek mythology isn't like the Book of Enoch and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm saying that. How do I break this down? people can claim that, let's say Zeus and all these different, like their Aztec god, the sun god, all these different things. We call them Christians. If you're a true Christian, you would call them fallen angels or like Nephilim. That's what we call them. I don't call them Zeus. I don't call them Athena. I don't call them this or this. God already gave them a name. He already depicted all these type of creatures. They're creatures to us. They're not any type of like have no real authority.
Well, except, of course, you think that Poseidon controls the oceans and Apollo flies his chariot across the sky and that, like, Zeus is responsible for all the lightning strikes. So it seems like they do have, like, real power and authority.
Is in charge of every single lightning strike, no.
Oh, okay. Then you would just you would have to reject the Odyssey then, which means that by your logic, you would reject your own argument.
Reject what my argument would be that what?
That the Bible is true because it references real places.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so does the Odyssey.
Okay, but where's their evidence? Just the place.
It's the exact same standard.
Oh no, because even when it comes to there's witnesses though of people seeing Jesus.
Yeah, where can I see this?
Where can you see this? You can look it up yourself right now.
Oh yeah. So what are the names of these witnesses? Where can I read them?
You can go look it up right now.
Yeah, I've already looked it up. The place that they come from is the Bible, which means that, so the conclusion you're trying to prove, the thing that you're trying to demonstrate is that the Bible is true.
That's what I'm saying. You're comparing.
Wait. The thing you're trying to demonstrate is that the Bible is true. And the only way that I can do that, the only way I can arrive at this conclusion, going down your chain of reasoning, is if I already believe that the Bible is true. The only way to arrive at the conclusion that the Bible is true is if you already believe it. It's a circular argument.
No, you have to believe the Bible just like you believe in the Christopher Columbus articles in his journals.
I believe the evidence. I believe that the evidence was like preserved and that I have reliable reason to believe that these things are in fact Christopher Columbus.
A whole bunch of different tablets, a whole bunch of different things collectively through the Jewish community and the Israelites, they passed down through their lineage to keep the story relevant.
You think that they passed down tablets?
No, I'm saying they written down tablets. They passed down. They written down certain things, and it can be on writing on wool or writing on some sheep. I don't know what they were specifically doing.
Yeah, what they were doing was oral tradition. It was not written down. It was a thing that was passed down verbally.
Okay. But even when writing down, they definitely did write down. Yes, it was. So things were written down in Greek and Hebrew.
It was passed via like verbal tradition. They would just tell the people the stories.
Written down.
Yeah, correct? And then eventually it was written down, but that's a long distance away from when it was actually like when the oral tradition actually started. We have no idea what information was added to the tradition or like taken away from it.
Claiming what you're saying it never got written. But
it took a while to get written.
It took a while for it to get written and published completely, right? Because there's still events happening. So they can't just complete a book that's not finished.
But the oral tradition was unchanging for a lot of these events.
Not even
these events didn't get written down.
So you're claiming that they never wrote it down?
No, they wrote it down eventually. It took a while.
Eventually,
though.
Okay.
It was primarily passed down via oral tradition.
Primarily, but not strictly.
I mean, it wasn't written down as far as we know.
It wasn't, but we just talked about when the first argument was 2,000 years before Christ.
Yeah, and what is that in relation to the actual events of what's described in the Dead Sea Scrolls? How long after those events did that happen?
2,000 years. 2,000 years.
So I'm asking, like, how far was it between the Dead Sea Scrolls and the events of the Dead Sea Scrolls?
That will be in the Christ coming. It would it wouldn't even be just Christ coming. It would be when even like Moses and all them coming and like.
Are you confused about my question?
Yes, I think I might restate the question.
Yeah, so there's like a period of time between the events of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the time when the Dead Sea Scrolls got written. Mm-hmm. What's the time between the events described and the actual writing down of it?
the writing down of it. So you're saying from the Dead Sea Scrolls to
no, from the
Dead
things
Sea Scroll
described by
came to pass?
the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the Dead Sea Scrolls describe events, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So from the time when the events happened in your worldview to the time when the Dead Sea Scrolls existed.
Roughly, I believe roughly 1,000 years. 1,000.
And you think that that's reliable? That 1,000 years between these events getting passed down verbally via oral tradition, you think that that would be reliable?
Because that will be a prophecy.
Okay, but it's still going to be passed down via oral tradition, which means that it's like unreliable.
And it still came to pass, which is still a prophecy.
No, wait, which prophecy was fulfilled? I'm still waiting.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to the ultimate sacrifice of just a sacrifice.
Yeah. So which verse does that refer to? The ultimate sacrifice.
Let me see. If you don't mind, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Keep on double tapping on that screen. Share it with your friends. Do all that good stuff. Let's get all the way up to 180K likes. 1 second. Let's check the time. Okay, chilling. Yeah, but if you want to come play some games in the community night, I'd love to see you there. Only join the Discord if you're 18 or older, but the Discord is discord.gg/allegedlyian. I'd love to see you there. It's a great place. I also notify you every single time that I go live, but only join the Discord if you're 18 or older, of course. We talk about politics, religion, philosophy. You can ask me questions. I'm sure I talk about random parts of my day, random arguments that I'm thinking through. I love debating with people there. It's a lot of fun. I've just gotten a lot of really good engagement out of it. Again, if you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate it. What games are we playing? I think we're playing Fall Guys, Among Us, Jackbox, and then maybe there's another one. I think Discord games, yeah. I love Discord games, like the AI one. That one's fun. And then there's a lot of spell casting that gets done in the server. It's a lot of fun. What else? Keep on double tapping. Get it pushed out to as many people as we can. Guess what's up? Have you found the verse?
Yeah, but they already kind of. I'm just going on Google. But I can just pull up roughly what now. But I wanted to get the specific verse that I'm.
Yeah,
it talks about an Old Testament. You know how I can tell you're very familiar with the Bible. So you know how in the Old Testament it talks about how they're supposed to sacrifice to clean their sins. To clear their sins.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So they talk about that's what God. He gave them their old commandments of this is how you, old rules to give them, hey, this is how you cleanse your sins. They didn't have a person to forgive their sins back then. So they had to sacrifice animals over and over and over and over. Every time they lied, every time they did this, they cheat, whatever, still, all that. So they have to keep killing livestock for their sacrifice.
Yeah, so which verse says that there's going to be an ultimate sacrifice? That's
and that's what I was saying. And then when basically that's what I'm saying. Let me find the and I don't know if it says ultimate sacrifice word for word, but I know it definitely says that there's going to be a new sacrifice that is going to be you don't have to sacrifice animals anymore, and that will be Jesus, obviously, because he's going to be the ultimate sacrifice at the end.
So what verse is that?
Let me find it, please. Thank you.
Yeah, keep on double tapping on that screen. Sorry it's taken so long. Hey, Anji, thank you so much. Now I gotta get familiar. I'm torn between so many different paths for what I could do with this channel. One of them, I think maybe I will just get more historically literate on things like the Bible and the Quran. It would be so cool to be one of those Bible experts. I think that it would just make the debate go a lot easier.
Real quick. So it says in Leviticus.
In Leviticus. Well, that's going to be confusing, right? Because Leviticus is just a set of Levitical laws. It's Moses laying down the law. I didn't know that Leviticus had prophecies in it, but I'd love to hear it.
I got to go back and forth to, so Leviticus 1 through 10 states that way to access, worship, and interact with God.
Wait, that what is?
Sacrifice, like animals,
Yeah,
sacrifice.
and what is this? So what's the prophecy there?
No, and then that's why this is what I'm going to start. And again, when it comes to like the Bible,
Wait. So just to be clear, I said explicitly, like I'm familiar with the idea that like sacrifice was a thing that was like expected.
Yes,
I'm familiar with that. Let's skip to the prophecy.
And then that's when that's what I'm saying. Another thing, the Bible uses a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of contextual like formality to like convey a message, if you know what I mean. Like it uses a lot of parables to show that, hey, this is what it's talking about, or he interlinks the words to make sense to you, if that makes sense. He uses the context to show you, let's say, oh, he'll lay out the rules. Hey, these are the sacrifice. They were sacrificing for years. The Old Testament, they're sacrificing for their sins. Then God talks about, if I'm not mistaken, talks about how there's going to be a new sacrifice, and that you do not. And when this new sacrifice comes,
which verse talks about the new sacrifice?
That's why I wanted to state the old one, and now I'm going to state the.
I'm already familiar with the old one. I don't need the old one.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep, that's fine, but I'm excited to hear it. I don't know. While I'm just like monologuing. If anybody has any like random questions while we wait for the guest to come back up, I'd love to answer some. But no, I've been thinking about like rhetoric maxing because I think I'm already like philosophy maxed. I feel like I haven't gotten good objections to the philosophy arguments in a really long time. And I wonder if now it's just time to put in the work and like hone the rhetoric even more than it's already honed. How could time be infinite? Well, that's just going to be because in order to have change, so if time is not infinite, that means that it's finite, that there's like a starting point. If there's a starting point, that means that it doesn't exist, which means that you need to go from non-existence to existence, which is a change. And a change can't happen unless you have time. How do you Venmo me? That's just in my bio. Venmo's allegedly -Ian. I appreciate it. Best philosopher to read in your personal opinion. That depends on your goals. It depends on what you want to get. If you're really interested in like the religion discussions, I think Graham Oppy, you can't go wrong. Graham Oppy is a brilliant religious philosopher. But if you want to do like other stuff, if you just want to get like a good overview of philosophy, I highly recommend the Copleston History of Philosophy series. It is like tons and tons of books, but all the books are like incredible in my personal opinion. Thoughts on animal sacrifice, probably pretty immoral. I think veganism is probably true. Do you believe in free will? Not really, no. I think it depends how you define it. There's like some definitions of free will where I think it's like a linguistic dispute where
I'm ready. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, go for it. What's up?
I just came back. I'm sorry. So in it's called HOCEA, HOCE, 6 and 6. Give you reference. I have to keep going back and forth to read it. I can't really write it down right now. I'm just literally sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard of this one before. But, yeah. So what does this verse say? HOCE 6:6. I've literally never heard.
So you can read it for them.
I don't know. My laptop is dead, and my
that's what I'm saying. My PC, I haven't even got my monitor for it yet. So I'm like,
people are saying it's Hosea.
Hosea, okay, thank you. It basically talks.
So what does Hosea 6:6 say? I'm unfamiliar.
Desire mercy and not sacrifice. Right?
It says what?
I desire mercy. I think it says mercy and not sacrifice.
I desire mercy and not. And what's the context for this? Is God just making this random statement 6 lines in?
Basically, when he start making the new law.
And is this Old Testament or New Testament?
It's still Old Testament, I believe.
So he was, yeah. Wait, could you read it from like the very top? Like what's Damn, I'm really gonna have to. I don't have a laptop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can start getting one. Let me.
Yeah, somebody, Justin, I see you in the comment section. Justin, if you wanted to come up, if you're capable of like reading this, I'd probably prefer that. Sorry, my laptop is super dead. I wish I could read through this. I have a Bible in the other, or no, I don't have a Bible in the other because I just moved. That's fine. Damn, I'd even take like just anyone with internet access who has like 2 devices who just wants to come up and read from like 1 to 6 just to hear the context.
Yeah.
Do you have a laptop nearby?
I don't have a laptop, but I probably can hook up my PC to my TV or something rather than I don't have my monitor. I broke a monitor. I'm gonna ask my fiance if I can use her phone real quick.
Oh wait. Oh heck yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Oh wait. Sorry, Jim. I'm gonna. I appreciate you, Jim. All right. What's up, Justin? Do you have insight into this?
Yeah, Hosea chapter 6 is just a judgment on Israel for their misdeeds and nothing more than that. That's why the very end of the prophecy in Hosea chapter 6 ends with God saying after their punishment, he's going to restore them. Has nothing to do with actually predicting the end of any type of sacrifice.
Okay.
Hosea and Amos both, there's like an arching theme through both of those prophets where God's just pissed off because he's saying, listen, I got your offerings and your sacrifices, but you're still a bunch of assholes. I don't really care about your offerings and sacrifices until you can get your stuff together.
Yep.
But there's no prediction in either book about the end of sacrifices.
Gotcha. So this is like a statement that's very contextually specific to whatever the events are that pissed off God, and with like no intention of like ending sacrifice altogether.
Yeah, and then basically like how he was saying like, watch my language, like y'all basically being a whole bunch of assholes. Y'all keep sinning over and over and over. We're gonna sin regardless. But God was getting fed up of how they cannot stop sinning and they have to keep sacrificing animals over and over. And I believe that's when the New Testament came, and then it talks about how basically Jesus will be the ultimate sacrifices, and I'm pretty sure.
But none of that's in the Old Testament, my friend, and that's the problem. Because if you read the prophets, like Jeremiah 33, in Jeremiah 33, when Jeremiah says the Messiah is going to come in chapter 33. He specifically says that the Levitical priesthood is going to be restored, and they'll give continual offerings and sacrifices in the temple of Yahweh forever. And then you get the same thing in Ezekiel. The whole second half of Ezekiel is about how when the Messiah comes, all the laws of Moses are going to be actually followed. They're going to stop disobeying the laws of Moses, and their offerings and their sacrifices will commence. And it even says that the Messiah is going to offer up a burnt offering sacrifice as well with the people of Israel. And it even details what types of animals they're going to slaughter.
Yes.
So there is no end of sacrifice in any of the Old Testament prophecies. And I would encourage you to read Jeremiah 33 if you have your Bible open.
It's Jeremiah 33. Is that that's the Old Testament or New Testament?
It's the Old Testament. That's where the prophecies are.
Okay. And I'm not really always thorough through the whole entire Old Testament because I'm still reading through the Old Testament. So, but, of course I read mostly the New Testament because of the accounts of Jesus and all that. So that's why probably I'm not fully like prepped when it comes to the Old Testament.
Right. And if you've actually read it, though, you would know that the prophets all predicted during the Messianic age there would be world peace, and that nobody would disobey the laws of Moses anymore. And it even says in Isaiah chapter 56 that God is never again going to be upset with his people, and he's never going to chastise them or discipline them ever again. And the foreigners will actually come to Israel and offer their own sacrifices on the altar of Yahweh, because he'll accept sacrifices from all people, not just Israel now. So in every one of the prophetic books, when it talks about the Messianic age, it depicts people still bringing offerings and sacrifices.
It looks like you're very prepped. So when do you know when God said there's not going to be any more sacrifices when it comes to animals?
There's not a single Old Testament prophecy that says that the offerings and sacrifices are going to cease.
No, to atone for their sins.
Yeah, you mean the sin offerings? Those are in Leviticus chapters 1 through 5, but you don't even have to offer an animal. If you're poor, you can offer a tenth of an ephah of flour. That's Leviticus, I think, 5:11.
Okay,
so
for any kind of
the idea that you had to shed blood to get your sins forgiven is not really biblical.
You said what?
Leviticus 5, I think, verse 11. You can offer as little as a tenth of an ephah of flour for your sin offering.
Yeah.
And flour doesn't bleed.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. But even when, of course, the guy was going to, some people couldn't have stocks and things of that nature, so he'll make it generalized for everybody, because that wouldn't be fair for, of course, the poor people. But basically, I definitely call me when it comes to bringing up saying that there's definitely said ultimate sacrifice. I'm just putting in generalization, like saying there's Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. He's being the last sacrifice when it comes to taking on, Christian sins or human sins once, they come under the covenant of God and Jesus Christ. But when it comes to you saying that the blood.
Yeah, but my man, those are all New Testament misreadings of the Old Testament. That's one of the reasons why the Jews don't believe Jesus is a Messiah, because whoever was writing the New Testament didn't really understand or read the Old Testament. They misquote it over and over again.
Yeah, but when do you, for example, can I ask you a question? For Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew, when those accounts, all those accounts just non-existent, they're not real, they're just made up?
Well, I don't know if they're made up. It's possible that they're a combination of real life events and made up events. But it's clear that both Matthew and Luke copied directly from Mark. And that's not really a debatable topic in biblical scholarship. In Greek, the word order is almost irrelevant. You can order the words in any way you want to. So the fact that we have direct copies in Matthew and Luke that are 30 and 40 words in length in the same order in the original Greek is unheard of, unless somebody's just directly copying. So if Matthew, Mark, and Luke are 3 independent stories, it's really just 3 people telling the same story that they copied from one source.
Okay. Which is just them copying, from the source.
Right, and Mark lived 30 years after Jesus. Mark was the cousin of Barnabas. So Mark's not an eyewitness to anything. Luke's not an eyewitness to anything. Luke was the traveling companion of Paul, 3 decades later. Matthew, his name doesn't appear anywhere taking credit for the Gospel of Matthew, and he couldn't have wrote Matthew if he copied it from Mark 3 decades later. And John obviously is not written by John in the very first chapter. Whoever wrote John is saying that they're writing the testimony that John had given to them. And then at the end of the book, the authors identify themselves in chapter 21 as being multiple. There are multiple authors.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple.
Chapter 21.
Yeah.
So the people that, the names that are attributed to the gospel authors, in no way are those actually the people who wrote those gospels.
Oh yeah, I know that they didn't physically write them. Just like when it comes to the King James version, obviously King James didn't write the Bible. He just put his stamp on it, his name on it, saying it's his version, but he had multiple writers or a writer write the King James version, correct? Like something like that.
But that would be certainly like a weird thing to do if it's like, well, here's the testimony according to Mark, and it's like not his testimony. Or, I mean, if it is his testimony, it's like irrelevant. Or not firsthand, I guess.
It's not firsthand, but and I like the point you were saying that a lot of things were oral or were orally passed, and other people wrote it down, correct? Like that's what basically your claim was.
Yeah. That like for lots of the like history of Judaism, it was not written down; it was passed down via oral tradition.
Okay. And would that make it flawed?
I would probably argue, that there's as with most oral traditions, there's information added and there's information removed. That the little details are almost certainly incorrect or like made up.
Okay. But when Mr. Reconstruction, when you said that you said it when things were written in Greek, it wasn't rewritten like word for word. It wasn't.
No, it was. That's one of the hallmark features why we know that Matthew and Luke copied directly from Mark is because they copied strings of Greek words in the same order, 30 and 40 words long. And you don't see that in Greek because in Greek, it's not like English where the word order affects the meaning of the sentence. In Greek, the word order can be anything. So if multiple people are telling the same story in Greek, you're never going to get the same word order, even if they're trying to tell the exact same events. So the fact that we have that in the three Gospels, the Synoptics, is like dead nuts proof that they were copying from Mark. And we know that they were copying from Mark for other reasons that we don't need to go into right now. But the fact of the matter
I would love to know. You sound like you know a lot, and I'm just always open-minded. I was just trying to hear to have a conversation. I'm not really here just to like debate. I just want to I love to learn different things. So if you have something that you don't want to discuss right there, I feel like that was going to be something very eye-opening for me.
Well, I mean, you might want to do some research on what's referred to as Markan priority. That'll give you like a primer in source criticism.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, if they were copying Mark, then none of the Gospels that really contain personal eyewitness testimony, because the majority of it's just copied from a guy who wasn't there. It's true that Luke and Matthew contain some of their own special material, but not much.
So even when it comes to the books of Luke and not Mark, but Luke, John, those are all those variants just came from Mark?
No. So like 95% of Mark is copied into Luke and Matthew, and then Luke and Matthew added some of their own special stuff on top of it. So there's a portion of each of them where whoever wrote the Gospel of Mark copied Mark. I'm sorry, whoever wrote Matthew copied Matthew. I'm going to say that one more time. Whoever wrote Matthew copied Mark and then added some of their own material. Whoever wrote Luke copied Mark and then added some of their own material. John is a complete outlier. Whoever was writing John wasn't directly copying from anyone. They were writing their own narrative.
Their own narrative or their own like John's.
Yeah, according to tradition, they were documenting John's testimony.
Yeah,
but
that's how I would say. When it comes to history, I feel
you understand that creates a lot of problems if you believe that, because if you believe that, then you have to believe that John didn't write the book of Revelation, because John was a prisoner sent to the island of Patmos at the end of his life. So there would have been nobody there that was documenting his narrative.
Understood. So, hey, thank you. Appreciate that, man. And,
sure thing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I probably do have to get going. I have,
of course. Yeah. Same.
I have some obligations at like 10 minutes or so. But Justin, thanks so much for coming on up. I always learn so much. I always learn so much
Yeah, it's
from
good
you.
to see you, Ian. Keep cooking,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Hey, but if you all enjoyed the debates, make sure you're giving Justin a follow. That's for sure. But make sure you follow in so you never miss the debates in the future. If you want to come to game night, the community night that we're doing tonight, if you're 18 or older, you should consider joining the Discord. There's a link to the Discord in my bio. It's also discord.gg/allegedlyian. You can just put that into the Discord app and it'll take you right there. Join code is allegedly Ian. There's no barriers to joining. We talk about politics, religion, philosophy. I was hanging out in a VC last night for, I don't know, like 9 hours, just talking to various people. So I'm very active in the server. I'd love to talk to you there. It's a really good server too. Consider joining. I'd love to see you there. Otherwise, let's go raid Dean. Dean's live on It's Not Dean with 2 A's, 2 N's. We're going to go raid Dean, but I appreciate and love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to y'all later. All right, bye-bye.